That's what I thought after I drew it. It looks like someone's drawn a dick on it.
What I can tell you with great confidence, Andy, is one does not need to be good at art to draw a dick.
No.
I cannot do art to save my life, but I can draw a penis. I've been doing it since I was about 7.
Okay.
How you doing, Gaz?
I'm doing all right. I'm just trying to log in. You've got me on Zoom, but that's about it at the moment.
Hey, that's that. It's an advance.
Yeah. Well, try again.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
You know all this already.
I'm assuming we're not getting Mickey. He said, I can't remember what he said. I think he said he was working late or he might job Bob on at some point. So
Yeah,
we'll
sort of thought he said he would be here, but then I can't remember whether that was the week after this. But if he turns up, he'll turn up. I've stretched Zoom this week, so if he does turn up, we shouldn't lose anyone off the end of Zoom.
Yeah. It's grand. It's always nice to see your faces. So
Like, what if one of you dies and we don't see their video reaction?
I want to see the expressions. Go see those expressions. Go see those expressions. Go see those expressions. How we doing, Dr. Zim? Are you on?
No. It's Forge, isn't it?
It is Forge.
Forge.
Yeah.
Well, did you manage to log into a main kind of account?
Do you want me to put the link in?
Yeah, just in case for some reason my monkey's asleep on the treadmill.
What should I put it in? Should I put it in Zoom?
Put it in Zoom, yeah, and I'll cut and paste it over. Zoom 6, mate.
Chat.
La la.
Right. Try that link in the Zoom chart.
Yeah, go on.
Zoom, zoom, zoom.
There we go. Okay. Sign in.
Remember, no password.
Yeah, it's just it wants me to sign into the Forge itself. That was the problem I was having. Logging, well, that's what I'm trying to do, mate.
It kept asking me if I was a human.
Yeah. Forge just started doing that to me.
But it wouldn't load up the D20, so I had to reload the whole thing to see the AI check. The robot check.
Yes, are you a robot? It's like, well, I'm playing a robot. Does that count?
Yeah.
Don't tell people you're actually a robot.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it's a cyber arm. It's a cyber arm. Damn. Spoilers.
This chimes in really well because I'm having a big Fallout 4 bash during the day when I'm not, speaking to real people. And this with all the androids in that, the bad android guys.
Yep. I restarted a playthrough of that with the enhanced edition.
Oh.
And
says Billum's here.
It does say that here.
It does say Billum's here.
Billum.
But Billum is not. Oh, where? Oh, I've lost my Zoom.
He's hiding.
Now.
He's
Oh,
hiding.
here he is.
We do have Billum. Right. Zoom, stay
Zoom?
on top. He is.
Where?
Maybe your Zoom is not stretched as far as mine is, Mike, but I can see everybody.
Just let the lowest dice roll over.
There's Mickey. Hi, buddy.
Do it again.
Sorry about that. I seem to have. I was having computer issues there. I was. Took me 6 minutes to actually get the whole thing working.
You need an IT specialist, Mickey.
I do.
Don't worry about it, Mickey, because we've still got Dr. Zim, who's our scientist.
And I've hacked it, and I'm in.
Are you in? Are you in, Gaz?
Yeah.
Doesn't.
It was a new update. Version, whatever it is, 11 build, whatever it was.
There you are. Yeah, you're finally on.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheeky wee thing.
Okay, so you can see your backdrop there, can't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So because what way to think about is these star systems tend to be thought of in terms of clusters or mains. Remember, like the Spanish main in your history class. So a main is a string of star systems that are 1 parsec apart, and basically the most primitive jump ship vessel will be able to go between those, and they tend to form quite well-established trade links. So you'll see over here between Janus and Noricum, and if you remember, Noricum was the old Sindalian capital. That was the Sindalian main, a link of star systems 1 jump apart. It's also called the Dust Belt. It's like a bit of a kind of a a shorthand name for it. You've got here Ogma, Marduk, and Borite. That is generally called the Ogman cluster. And it's pretty backward for obvious reasons that you guys kind of know.
Yeah.
Here you've got these three systems, Torpol, Clark, and Blue. That's generally called the Torpol cluster, although the people of Clark might call it the Clark cluster. It depends where you're from. You've got here Drinax, Pawn, Hilfer, Parl, Sinak, Burn. That's the Drinax main.
Drinax represent.
Drinax yeah. Reign to Drinax, glory to Drinax. Over here, Tech World, Inorin, Falcon, Spill, X, Argona, Ergo. This would be like the Borderland cluster, or the maybe Inorin cluster, but it's that kind of cluster that's pretty much all in the Borderland, right on the edge of the Great Rift. And then over here, with the Aranacea, you've got this kind of cluster here. Now, I'm not really sure what that's called. I was going to look it up, but I couldn't find. But you could call it the Cordan cluster, because that Cordan is a bit of a kind of a trade nexus.
Yeah, it's right on the
So
route.
do you see more of an Imperial presence there? Are we aware of as players, Mike?
We've been to a few of those worlds.
Yeah, you've been to a few of those worlds. I guess there's a lot of a fair number of Imperial ships passing through on the trade route, and there'll be some patrols. And the further away you get, but all along these trade routes, there will be Imperial patrols, and there might be Aslan patrols.
Taking opportunity for a bit of undercover piracy.
Well, there's Aslan ships.
There's a mark in it.
Yeah, well, the Aslan ships are going up from the high rate up to the Imperium, and the Imperial ships are traveling back as well. So they're kind of like, they look after their freighters and they sort of hand them over to the high rate, and the Imperium are not at war. They're not.
Oh right, they're not at the moment. No.
Not at the moment.
They've got the treaty.
Cool.
The
treaty, yeah.
The high rate, and the Imperium aren't.
Yes.
But the Ihatai.
Yeah, they're like rogue, sort of.
Second
when they want, aren't they?
Yeah.
Excuse me, I just breathed in some beer.
Like you do.
I want you to tell me what.
Stick with it.
I want you to tell me what we did last week, rather than me jibber jabbering. Because if we're not careful, I'll talk for 45 minutes. And
that'd be great.
Tell me what we did last week. Tell me what we did, and I'm going to go along my line of Zoom is there. But just tell me a little bit. So, Calistinius, tell me a little bit about what we did last week.
We was last week when we had the party at the Aslan's house.
Yes, it was.
I missed that.
The week before we just arrived, we basically spent the whole session chinwagging and establishing our credentials. And some of us made fools of ourselves.
And had experiences you will never have.
I apologise for Zim for dropping his pants inappropriately.
And we also got some information as well, useful information.
Yes, yeah. And that information, so Zim, you actually didn't go to that house in the end.
Right.
Because we retconned it a little bit, and you wanted to work on this scientific paper about that gas giant LOI creature.
Oh yeah, that makes sense actually.
Yes.
Yeah, they would do that because that's a revelation.
Quite exciting. So you decided at the last minute, you know what, I'm not going to go to meet this guy, and you headed back, and Billam joined them instead.
And you missed out on Billam's greatest moment, but we'll come to that.
We'll come to that. Yeah, we'll come to that. And okay, so if you also, with reference to what Kel said there, I deleted a few of the other roles and things, so you could see these last 5 rumors about in the chat, in the Foundry chat. There are 5 rumors there that you guys picked up from Ekaft, the Aslan.
Flotilla.
The rescue flotilla for the Martin II arrives in 8 weeks. And there was. You don't know whether these are true or not.
Yeah, they're just rumours.
They're just rumours, yeah. The Martin II was sabotaged. The rumour, you also got the deck plans for the ship.
You're welcome.
Did we?
Yeah. Dax knows how to carouse.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, nice one, Dax. That's a major.
It is a big one. And they taught us some things that. Oh my God!
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good news.
No, it is not good news when we get to the last rumor.
It's not good news.
I can imagine.
The engineering section of the Martin II, this Imperial treasure ship, has been damaged, and the ship has a vault on it, which is locked using an unbreakable mathematical code derived from stellar data and from stellar positions and jump data.
Oh, I've been watching Star Wars, mate. I've seen this shite.
So we've got to fly. Technically, we've got to either fly the vault to a certain place in the stars, or we need a clever scientist to fool the electronics to tell the vault it's at that position in the solar system.
Or it won't open. You can't open the vault.
Yeah.
In any normal place. It has to be a specific location.
At the moment, we don't know what that location is. So that's like priority alpha for our sort of treasure-seeking, knowledge gathering.
Yeah.
What it doesn't say is that the vault is completely impenetrable. So like we couldn't open the door unless we were at that position. We might be able to break through it. The challenge with that is, when we looked at the deck plans, the vault itself is gargantuan. I don't even think we could fit it inside the coup. It's too big.
Yeah, let me show you
inside the vault.
Yeah.
Let me show you the deck plan. Let me remind you of the deck plan. Show the players. Yep.
Woof.
1,200, so about whatever that is, 6 times the displacement of the Harrier.
Yeah, she's a big fat lady.
About 100 meters long. So big, but not uber big, but fat.
Fat. Yeah, she's a girthy girl.
She's a girthy girl, yeah. So she's got 2 cargo decks, lower cargo deck and a upper cargo deck, and in the upper cargo deck you've got the vault. Don't know what's in this vault.
But we know from the deck plans there are a minimum of 4 boxes in the vault.
And 4 grey boxes. Yeah.
But we also know that if we pick up the boxes around the outside of the ship, we'll get more of them, so it's probably fine. We probably don't need the vault.
Nothing in that. There's nothing in that ship. Nothing in that ship. It's just a whole host of trouble.
Did we consider like trying to fix it and just stealing the whole thing?
Yes, we did.
You've not really decided what you're going to do yet.
Well,
gathering information.
When we talked about it back before we'd even repaired the base, one option was we were going to try and steal it and fly it back to the base. Although I'm not sure it would fit in the big hangar at that size. But
it's too big.
It is too big. But one of the things we talked about was we could hide it, sort of somewhere on the.
What if it's got like a homing beacon on it or something? Just a transponder. That
also, I think that's a terrible idea because two reasons. So here's my addition to what happened last week. One, we know that there is an Imperial anti-piracy ship in orbit above Aranasir. That's the only escort left for the Martin II. Now, if we were to steal the stuff on it, we could get away in the Harrier. It's a well-armed, well-armoured ship, but it's slightly lower thrust than us, and we've got a cloaking device, so we could do some piracy on the planet, steal some stuff, get in the Harrier, fly away, escape, go back to the base, drop stuff off. That's the beast.
That's the ship so Gaz might be familiar with this. That's a Gazelle Close escort.
Yep.
So it's an anti-piracy.
Updated since last time I saw one.
Yeah. 400 ton, jump 5, thrust 5. Not quite as fast, but better jump capacity.
And it could pelt us while we're getting away.
It's a military vessel.
She's not the Ashanti, is she?
It's called the Kimono.
The Kimono.
The cursed demon kimono.
I should have called it the Demon Kimono.
Yeah, you should have done.
Metagaming.
No, I was thinking if it was like that, Ashanti highlight.
So the way I look at that is, if we were to steal the Martin II, that's just going to blow us out the sky and board us before we get half a chance, and it's going to be packed full of Marines. So I think we've got to rob it. But also, Kel did some very good work with the Aslan, with Ekaft, in establishing whether Ekaft would be able to trade some of the stolen goods for us. So we made very good relations with him. He had a couple of propositions for us to do for him, which we haven't decided whether we're going to do yet, and in what priority. One of those was to disrupt trade to the high port and drive more trade to the down port, because at the moment Jedico own the high port and take a huge cut, and the Aslan.
Well, Aranasir owned the high port.
Well, yes, but
Jedico take a cut,
yeah,
because of the contract where we will build you a high port, and we will train your people how to run it. And in return, we take a little percentage, and we get a little bit of kind of a few monopolies on trade goods that go through.
So the majority of trade goes through the high
Sector
port.
kickback.
Yeah. And that trade is heavily Jedico sort of centric, and therefore the government of Aranasir, with Ekaft as its sort of head, as its nominal state head, doesn't get the dividends that they feel they deserve. So he'd asked us to disrupt trade or make trade less attractive in the high port and more attractive in the down port. And one of the ways we talked about doing that, I'm sure Reytar will get into in his recap. The other one was, and this is the one Dax is excited about, was he confirmed what we learned about 2 years ago when I did the duel with the Ihatai Aslan, and he said there's a storm coming, get out of this part of space. He's confirmed there's a gathering of Ihatai who are going to be pushing through and doing some pretty major expansionism because they're not part of the high rate, so they're not breaching the treaty by doing it. And he wanted us
brackets.
Yeah, exactly. And he wanted us to go into Aslan space and take a message to them to say, come and help us retake Aranasir in the name of the Aslan. So there's a very factional split there in terms of who we side with, but also we'd have to go fly into Aslan space and convince them that we weren't just sort of pulling a fast one.
He doesn't know exactly where either yet. He just knows that there's force gathering in the high rate of Hatai who are going to be pushing in, and he wants you to guide basically some of his cousins to Aranasir, because the Aslan run Aranasir, but it's not really many of them, and their hold is weakening. And he wants to re-establish control of Aranasir. And this is Ekaft, isn't it? And then this was his wife.
Oh.
Iyakao. She was his wife. She was the one who was talking about the high port that really perked Reytar's whittle.
Which is unsurprising because they thought he was a female.
They thought he was a female because he's a trader. He didn't carry any weapons, and I really liked seeing Andy's face. That was really a beautiful thing. This was the retinue, and we're going to come to Reytar in a moment. But this was the retinue. These were like Ekaft's 3 Aslan bodyguards. We'll come to what happened with Bill in a minute, won't we?
Remember
I don't think they're appreciative of a chin tickle.
Well, they might be. Remember those big, scary, ugly faces because they showed up later in the encounter.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. So Reytar, you are currently muted. I just muted while you were chatting. So tell me a little bit about what you might recall from last week.
Well, I do recall a few things for sure. Starting with the fact that I was mistaken by a female. Which doesn't upset Andrew, by the way, at all, but totally upset Reytar for various reasons. So initially, Reytar was, getting out his way to get this respect from an Aslan. He felt that he already exceeded what was probably expected from him in terms of masculinity to start with and bravery. And yet, when he came to the meeting, Dax kind of was referencing him. Well, maybe not in a rude way, and Reytar is not necessarily upset with Dax, but he was kind of getting this vibe. I defeated the Aslan, and what was exceptional, probably bravery from Reytar to get into this Aslan respect territory. Still didn't count enough to not be joked about. Then on top of it, this lady who GM was playing just happens coincidentally. Also mentioned that Reytar is a woman, which is not great, and yet to kind of spice things up. And I don't know, Mike, is it okay if I just recap and you do the rest, like in terms of the Stress recap. Yes, thank you. So, and then on top of it, Reytar took some drugs, which made him question
an existential crisis.
Yeah, question the existence, and kind of this combination of emotions was probably highlight of last game session. Practically speaking, probably worth mentioning, Reytar was keen and probably was going to get a meeting with an Aslan who has got connections in Highport, so that he can establish one sort of hierarchical position. I think it was board member or something.
Yeah.
Higher up there.
Yeah, basically, the Aslan female had wanted, because a lot of the trade goes through the high port, she wanted to try and decrease the trade going through the high port and increase the trade going to the down port to try and increase the planetary income, because a lot of money goes to Jedico. So there was various discussions about how to do that, and Kel had already written down a few ideas. And then Reytar said, what about if we try and get basically like a corporate espionage and try and get appointed to the high port in a position and do something kind of fraudulent?
So two things which we could do. One is we could collect data on the spaceships which come and go, and we could release this list of spaceships. Well, obviously not from our own name, but just help the leak of the data, saying that, potentially it's no longer safe to use Highport since there is a leak of data which pirates could feast upon.
Oh, I like that, Reytar.
Well, I'll give the credit to Dax. Hate it. But actually, he offered initially to just spread out the gossip that there is such leaks in there. And then Reytar thought, hold on, but we could actually do the leaks. So it's kind of a joint effort.
And we were saying that we could do both sides. So we could put the leaks out, that there's a rumour, and leak the information, but we could also take a couple of choice ships that we know have left the high port if Reytar is in a position of power, pirate them in a neighbouring system, when ones that we know have something of value, to reinforce the fact that this is not just a rumour, it's true.
Absolutely. Yeah. And additionally, just quick summary is that there is potentially a way to satisfy Aslans without actually going through all those hardships of the quest. We could potentially just forge documents on terms of the income which Highport produces, and we could divert some of that income to Arnesia and keep some for ourselves, and that would potentially satisfy Aslans in their desire to decrease the Highport influence and income, while Jedikos.
And the Aslan Ekath has set you up with a meeting with someone from the Arnesia Port Authority, the APA, who we're gonna role play that session tonight, and you can decide whether you go to that meeting on your own, Reytar, or whether you want someone else to go with you. So you have to have a little think about that.
And that was one of my favourite character beats from last session, because Reytar is falsely accused of forgery and fraudulent market manipulation a system over, and he didn't do it. And now he's like, we could actually just do it, couldn't we?
It's like in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah, that's it. I've been accused of it. Let's rock on.
Right. Okay. So lastly, we have and I want you to tell me if there's anything you might want to do before we'll come to Doctor Zim last, because you weren't here last week.
Yeah.
Lastly, Bill, tell me about how your session went last week, Bill.
Nothing happened, did it?
So to be honest, it's like out of character. I was like, oh no, I didn't do anything last week. Oh yeah, no, I remember now. So Billum, it was pretty suspicious, to be honest, as we sort of entered the Aslan property, and they asked everyone to sit down. Billum's fully aware that the less guard we have, the more fucked we get by Aslan if they did decide to turn on us. So he kind of stayed on edge a little bit, and although he did sort of go down to one knee, he didn't really settle. However, during the kind of the food and festivities, the alcohol absolutely went to Bilham's head, and his previous focus and poise was replaced by being absolutely pissed out of his skull, to a point where he even challenged one of the Aslan guards to a strength, a test of strength, a boxing match to see who was the
with one of those.
Yeah.
Single combat with an Aslan's in. We've seen it. We've won it. We know how it goes.
So, to be honest, it was one of those things where the dice rolls were just, again, they just kind of forced our behaviour upon us, and it all ended up as actually one of the most fun roleplay experiences I've had for a long time. With Bilham essentially getting the shit kicked out of him by this Aslan, who at the end of it, rather than sort of putting him on his arse, but Aslan just kind of put his finger out and pinked him on the head, and they kind of had a big old sort of laugh and
he was a very honourable Aslan, I think.
Sorry.
It was quite nice, wasn't he, in the end, because he respected the fact that you stood up against him, and and what we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of healing, because you took a bit of damage from that.
I was going to ask
as well, Bill. Yeah, we're going to do a bit of healing. So so I guess that was the kind of summary of what we did last week. So we met Ekath, we've got Ekath and Ekayal, we've got the 2 missions. There was the also Zim, Calistinius. There was a ship that buzzed the starport.
Oh, hello!
When you arrived, this black ship.
Yeah.
And Calistinius detected a short burst transmission from the Martin II to this black scout ship.
Yeah.
But you don't know what's on it. There was a transmission to this black scout ship.
And if it was sabotage, if that rumour's true, that we sort of thought, Kel was thinking, there might already be a faction on board the Martin II planning a bit of a robbery of their own, which would be ideal.
You don't sabotage a treasure ship and then just go, that's our job done.
Yeah.
You would do that so that you can then take advantage and steal it, or...
So we could ally with them. Because they might already know how to get in the treasure vault. They might already know what's in it. They might already know lots of things we don't. If we can get in touch with them, we could sort of ally with them, and then maybe betray them at the last minute, or just take the goods, or frame them for doing it. There's a lot of options. So at the end of the last session, we all kind of pinged our ideas for what we would like to do next, with a bit of a focus on the treasure ship, because we'd got a lot of information. Both the Aslan quests seemed a bit more long term, so we thought we'd focus on the treasure ship, as we've got, we reckon, if the rumours are true, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
There's a couple of strings we can pull together, isn't there?
Yeah. Now, also, that Mirage liqueur that you guys took all had some varied side effects. It made Bill a bit kind of belligerent, and he, got a bloody nose for it, and that's fine. Yeah, Calistinius had a bit of a short-term neurological effect. So he's going to take a minus... You've got the shakes. He's going to take a -1 on dex rolls until it stops being funny.
So never, then.
Yeah. Now, Reytar had an existential crisis. And what happened, so you spent the night drinking, and in the morning, you've all got up, you've been sleeping on rugs, still in your clothes, absolutely stinking, absolutely like pounding hangovers. The Aslan guys are all the same. Everyone is absolutely wankered. Reytar, what's happened? What have you done overnight? What did you do?
Well, I would like to just stress one more time what emotions Reytar had, but could I please ask you to actually, you know perfectly what Reytar did.
It's a narrator, yeah.
I would like you to introduce the concept. I will just reiterate that Reytar felt absolutely on a blink of a break. How would you, like, people which are close to suicide but not rather suicide? How would you call it?
On the edge, on the sort of edge of a breakdown, yeah.
I don't know.
An episode.
You tell me you're on the edge all the time, kind of thing.
He's basically, Reytar's had a bit of a kind of crisis there.
Like this on the edge, but not in terms of the suicide, but kind
No.
of like midlife crisis.
Bit of a midlife crisis, yeah.
That's the best description, yeah.
And Reytar slept, not really slept, but he's spent the night outside in a bush. And he's come in the morning, and his head is completely shaved, but it's been done quite badly. So there's tufts, and he's borrowed one of the Aslan blades, and there's tufts of hair and nicks.
Oh, he's gone a big taxi driver.
Where a bit of blood. Yeah, he's done a Travis Perkins. Is it Travis Perkins? He's shaved his head, and he looks. We're going to have a new image for Reytar, because he's also going to try and get a little bit of minimal plastic surgery. But he's not had the plastic surgery yet. He's still recognised to be Reytar, but like you've been used to seeing this guy with long dark hair, and now he's got his head is shaved, and he's obviously done it himself without a mirror. So it looks a bit like...
Reytar, come and see Dr. Zim. He's good at cosmetics and plastic surgery. Well, I could do surgery.
Make it look like any soffent you like.
Yep.
So that was Reytar, existential crisis, and Dax, you've got an infection risk.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do is we're going to roll endurance for every session that we're on our Anasia. You're going to make an endurance roll, and if you fail, you're going to feel ill. Which is going to be a negative.
I like the idea. Dax sort of rolls out of his straw cot, and he's got an absolutely pounding hangover. And, you know, everything, he's sweating and his head hurts and he feels sick. And to Dax, that's like a Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning. They're all like that. It's fine. Like hangovers, he can walk through. He lives his life like that. He'll get another drink in a minute. He'll be fine. And then he sees Reytar sort of come in with this semi-shorn head, bleeding in places, a few little tufts. And he just sort of says, fucking hell, Reytar, what the... Excuse me, my friend. And he'll climb out the crib and he's like, fuck, I don't feel so good. And there's just a little something on top of the cold that maybe is taking hold, and he's not quite sure what it is, because Dax he's a pretty healthy dude, other than the fact that he's almost permanently hungover.
Make an endurance roll then, please, Dax.
Let's do it.
First roll of the night.
Let's do it. First roll of the night always goes well, right? At least I didn't fight an Aslan last night and have my endurance fucked to 0. Okay, so it's Snake Eyes. So Dax is definitely ill today.
Yeah, so you're going to be taking some... I'm not going to make that a -3 effect from a task chain, but you are going to take a negative to your skill rolls today. I think we'll take anything that could be affected by being ill. We're going to take it at a -1, and we'll decide that.
I'm at that, but he's definitely ropey this morning. Those whatever those nanites are in his bloodstream, they're just not working hard enough. They're for injury rather than illness, and he's just like, oh fucking hell. Yeah.
Well, funnily enough, Dr. Zim has been working on a alcoholic poisoning debug system routine, which I've been working on experimentally. I've taken the odd nip just to see how it works, and it does work. However, there still are side effects. But I think it would help everyone on the crew.
We're going to do before we get onto the sort of main thing, we're just going to do these little micro scenes. Okay, we're just going to do a little micro scene for each of you, and we'll do Zim first, because I think it's topical with what you just said. Zim, while these guys have been off at the House of Ekaf, you've been working on your new paper.
On my thesis, yes.
on this creature. Lydia pipes up, in your head, and she says, Dr. Zim, I seem to be having some problems with one of my subroutines. I believe there's a slight bug in it, but I think not a system reboot, but a slight software reboot, basically like a delete and reinstallation of this kind of subroutine would be really helpful. Zim, at the back of your ear, because you've got this neural lace, you've got this kind of, it looks like a tattoo.
Yeah.
Right, it's a little kind of circle that's basically the sign that's where it's kind of
subdermally implanted.
Yes, yeah, where the neural architecture is implanted.
Yeah.
And Lydia says, if you like, well, what do I do? And she says, if you were to just rub your finger around the edge,
Lydia wants you to. Okay.
Just a bit like that, round the edge.
Okay.
That would initiate.
I'm not comfortable with this.
That would initiate the reinstallation of the subroutine.
Could you isolate the subroutine for me, please, Lydia?
I'm
throw it up on my HUD to isolate exactly where this is.
Yeah, it's a minor kind of. It's a very minor system, but it does integrate with lots of other systems.
Okay.
But unfortunately, it needs your authorization to reboot it. So, are you happy to do that?
And is that a verbal, or is this thing that
you just have to kind of rub your finger around the edge.
Oh. I'll pull on my gloves, take out a little surgical spirit and a cotton bud, and just gently. I'll let her know as I'm doing it.
Yeah, she goes quiet, and then she says,
that reinitialized, Lydia?
She says, just a bit harder, please.
Oh.
I'm very, very uncomfortable with this. Can we please have a picture of Lydia back up in the display?
Because currently it looks like
I think that's clean enough. I think that's clean enough.
Where is it? It'll be. Where would it be? Lydia. LYD. Would it be there? I can't remember where it would be. Would it be in number 3? LYD. Oh, here we go.
You swine, you've done something.
Yeah, we all feel much better now.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So, are you happy to just go a little bit firmer?
No. I will do a full. Do a full hands-on diagnostic on the central mainframe to get to the bottom of this. Thank you, Lydia. Goodbye. Bye.
Okay. And you just feel you turn it off, and you're just like, I don't know how you feel about that. So that's your little kind of cut scene about what happened there. Reytar, we're just going to go to you, and this is a little flashback to something. Yeah, I know. This is a little flashback.
I'm trying to have virtual sex with everyone tonight, Mike.
No.
Is it your plan?
If he doesn't, I'm going to be really disappointed on my go.
I feel so dirty.
Flashback. Show me on this doll where. Okay.
Where Dax touched you.
You know when you were back on the base.
Yeah.
Mike. What was this? What was the skill you took? You took Vaxsuit, didn't you? Was it Vaxsuit you took? I think Reytar, did you set Vaxsuit?
I didn't.
I thought you did.
I don't remember. Let me double check.
That's right.
Info. I took mechanic skill just for the base. Okay. I'm talking about the base improvement.
Yes. Yeah, you took a skill.
It was a mechanic.
Okay. So I'm going to say that Silek was instructing you with the mechanic, and there was just a day when he was kind of working with you. And do you remember when a little while ago in the chat I was asking, you said about reducing the cut that the NPCs take, and because it was criminal what they were taking, and I said, are you going to have this discussion in real life in the game? And you said, yes, of course.
With Dax, yeah.
Oh shit.
And so Silek, he's working away, and he's kind of like looking at this thing, and he's like, no, like turn it the other way, and he's instructing you. He says, and just as you finish, he says, before you go, have you got a minute? He says, yeah. Now, the thing is, Reytar, I don't know much about you. And the captain says you're a wanted man with a price on your head. Well, I've served 12 years in the Marines, and I can see that you've never done a hard day's work in your life. Now, I've been with the captain, Dr. Zim, and Bill for nearly 2 years, and I've seen that Scratch give a good account of himself. We've had more scrapes than you've had meal for one ready mixed noodles. Now, There's not a man amongst that crew that I wouldn't give my life for. And I believe he for me. And then there's you. You come swanning in a few months ago with some balmy ideas and half thought out plans. And now you're trying to rewrite the rules of division of shares, where the rest of the crew receive 1 share, but you seem to receive 2. Now, what I want to ask here is what you bring to this operation, Mr. Cavalan, other than trouble and the ability to press a button. He stands up and he just kind of clicks his neck and he says, "You have to watch yourself around here, Mr. Cavalan. Get dangerous out here. There's a lot of airlocks around." And then he stands up and he goes, "Lunchtime, I think. Come on." You don't have to say anything.
You do that so well, Mike. Do you know, I just get like now with, well, I had it with Dave when we select, was you role playing like Mark Swift.
It's exactly who he's based on. Exactly
Swifty.
who he's based on. He's really nice 1 minute and then look like a murderous. Total psycho. And then like back to kind of absolutely normal. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to say anything. You could think about that. And then it's basically.
Well, I do want to say something.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So a Reytar will just say, 12 years as a Marine. A fucking smart guy you must be. I'll say that, I doubt you will understand. Therefore, fuck you. That's that. I don't feel comfortable when a guy threatens, especially, I know it's a flashback, but now Reytar comes to the point of
It'll be a fucking flash forward in a minute, mate.
Of a little bit of an existential crisis. So I would assume it would.
Well, that's fair, yeah.
I would assume it would bring. Okay, it's not a result of existential crisis because we are in the in the timeline in the future, but it could have probably brought this extra.
It's a bit of extra stress, a bit of extra pressure.
I don't give a fuck. Like literally, Reytar has spoken his thoughts out. He didn't hide it necessarily, but he spoke in a private manner in the benefit of the crew. And he knows that he spoke in the benefit of the crew, so that crew doesn't suffer from unexpected financial issues. He didn't try to get personal gain. And therefore, he's pissed with the fact that the guy who has no ability to count or
you don't know anything about him.
Well, apparently, if he thinks that was a stupid idea, he doesn't know how to count. That's that. And the fact, if Reytar was trying to get personal gain from it, maybe
he doesn't know. He doesn't know that. He doesn't know that.
And therefore, I'm not even interested to explain this to him.
Okay.
Just because he assumed that just added to the Reytar's existential crisis, kind of. You know what?
Does Silik still carry that Gauss pistol?
Holy shit!
Again.
Turns out Reytar never had an existential crisis because he doesn't exist anymore.
So just
good evening.
Any kind of situation where you've got a group of guys together, there's going to be situations of conflict, isn't there?
Yeah.
I don't want you to think that that everyone is just getting on all the time. There's going to be these kind of situations where you rub up against each other, little arguments. Some of those are not going to amount to anything. Most of them are not going to amount to anything, but might amount to something, might they? Anyway, we'll have a little think about that.
I really like that kind of character development because I didn't see that coming from Reytar at all. So I think that's a really interesting sort of change of his
good dynamic
view of his character. Like he's actually got some balls. Like that's just to turn up to Silik like that. I mean, that's.
Wait a minute! I see a scratch.
Yeah, can you see him?
Hi, Dan.
Holy shit!
Hi, buddy.
How you doing?
How are you, mate?
We're good,
Oi, oi, mate.
we're good, mate. Are you playing with us? Are you joining in? You
I
playing?
don't know how long I'll be, so
Okay,
I just
join
wanted
in
to
for a
pop
bit.
in, see you all, have a listen, and then see what time it is I have to drop out. So
Cool.
assume Scratch is not with us this evening, and I'm happy to just listen to the madness that's happening.
And it is madness.
It's good to see you, Dan.
It's great to have you, buddy.
One of the things when you get back to the ship, so you spend the night there. You know, you fly back in the morning or late morning after breakfast, whatever. You fly back to the coup, and when you sort of arrive back, as you come in, as you sort of land, Stella comes running out, and she's like, Dax, we've got a bit of a situation. It's Kirsch and Jory Ip. They're at each other's throats in there.
This is good.
And you go in, and you're basically like Kirsch and Jory Ip are sort of kicking 10 bells out of each other.
Oh shit!
Rolling around the floor in fur and fang.
Yeah. Now Silex tried to pull them apart, and she's trying to do her part, and Shane's trying to pull them apart, and you've just kind of walked in on this situation where these two are sort of been fighting. What do you want to do?
So Dax is going to whip the monoblade out, but it's not held in an aggressive combat stance. It's almost dragging on the floor, and he's just going to go, "Oi! For fuck's sake, get off each other! Have you got any idea how fucking hungover I am? And I think I'm picking something up and all. What is this shit?" And he's going to walk over and he's just going to kick them apart with his bionic legs.
Yeah. Okay. So Kirsch is like, he called me a gin-sodden booze hound.
Well, there's a degree of cause for that, Kirsch. I mean, you've got previous, but as a man who's got a stinking hangover, we accept that kind of thing on the crew. You got a problem with drinking, Jury?
Jury says, it's not that. We were drinking, it was all going fine, and we were playing some cards, and then he called me one of the final members of a no-good vermin species.
That's just bollocks. That's no... Wait a minute. There's no call for that whatsoever. I seen this man smack a skull with a wrench, or he tried at least. So, no. I think we got a small cultural disagreement here. And as a diplomat myself, I feel I can resolve this quite easily. Right, you sit over there. You, the dwarf. You, the hairy fucker. Sit over there. Right. Pair of you look at me, and he's going to put the monoblade away. But he's just going to sort of roll his shoulders, and he's got the shotgun on his back, and say, "Right, dwarfy boy, what do you got to say to him?"
Make a leadership roll.
Oh, here comes my new leadership skill.
Now, you're not feeling at your best, so it's -1.
I was going to say, what is my penalty? That's what I want to know. Right, leadership 0 with a -1, and we'll have it. I'm assuming it's like an int roll.
Make it blinded.
Okay.
GM blind.
Oh.
Is that like just the double dash then for characteristic modifier with a -1? Oh, I see. GM blinded as well. Right, so it's a...
So that it should say GM. There should be a GM blind.
Yeah,
option,
blind GM roll.
Blind GM roll.
What's...
Which means that should mean that you can't see it.
Yeah,
I can.
it should. What stat would you like?
Don't argue anything really. Could be physical presence, couldn't it? Could be.
Yeah, I mean Dax he's pretty fed up with all this, and he's been swishing the monoblade around, and he's going to do it. I'm not going to say strength because he's not a strong fella. He's just got one cyber arm, but he'll take Dex. He's going to do a bit of a swish as he puts the monoblade back in its sheath, but he's going to roll it with his -1. So I shouldn't see this. Nope, I saw no dice. I have no idea what that roll was.
They're brilliant. They look pretty. They look a bit kind of. There's that kind of. Fucking sorry as well. Fucking sorry. And there's a kind of like a really half-hearted sort of shaking of hands and they just go their separate ways. And whether that role went well or not is going to have implications for later on. We don't know.
I love that. And as they sort of get up and go their separate ways, Dax is just going to say, before they leave the bridge or wherever we are, he's just going to say, look, are you loyal to the coup? I'm not going to say you're loyal to me because we're a crew together, but are you loyal to the coup? You, Kirsch. I know you are, you fucker. You like a drink, so do I, my fucking head's pounding.
Aye, Captain, of course.
And you, little fella.
You guys saved my life.
You, little fella, you're new, but I like you. You've spent a long time working on this base with us. I feel I can trust you. I think you're a man of skill. Are you loyal to the coup? Forget this very fucker.
It's very fucker. He sort of like looks a bit kind of shifty, and he's like, yeah, of course I'm loyal to the coup.
Well, in that case, you're loyal to each other. Now, you don't have to like each other. A lot of us don't like each other most of the time. But these things, if you want to settle it with a scrap, that's fine. You settle it with a scrap. But once it's done, it's done. And I'm saying to you now, it's fucking done. Now, someone get me a fucking drink. And he's going to go sit down.
Calistinius, your background is in policing, isn't it? And kind of special intelligence and things like
espionage.
that. Espionage. Yeah, you've been kind of just looking around, maybe at the starport, keeping your eye on things. Maybe looking on some of the news channels. And there's a couple of little kind of graffiti seems to be a big thing on Aranasea. And there's a couple of posters that you've kind of seen, maybe on the background of a news article, news channel. Something's happened. There's a bit of a team of reporters there, and in the background, is it a coincidence that these things are in the background? There's a couple of little kind of.
It's pretty clever.
A little bit over the top.
It's a bit over the top, yeah.
Also, that looks
there that I'm trying to understand.
that looks more like Calistinius' dad than an Aslan.
It gives me flashbacks.
Yeah. Now, don't forget, there was the ones we saw.
Yeah.
Aliens come out.
And Graffiti, whatever his name was.
So are you saying, Mike?
Grehai, sorry.
I've been seeing them in the background of news reports. Am I seeing them in the background of news reports more frequently than I see them from just walking around?
No, they could be anywhere. It doesn't matter where they are.
It's not like the news people are doing a subtle. They're always filming in front of one.
Maybe there's one occasion where you see one on a news report. Yeah. Maybe there's another that you actually see somewhere.
Sure.
And there's a final one as well, which I'm particularly proud of, actually.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, Reytar.
It's alright, he hasn't got hair anymore.
Yeah.
He's going to be a rebel leader without even knowing it.
Is that supposed to be? Is that a Reytar image that I recognise?
It doesn't look like him, but it's hard to say. It's just graffiti. Hard to say.
Just a vicious,
huge old.
Okay.
Yeah. Make Aranasea great again.
Yeah. Okay.
Make Aranasea
and are we hearing,
again.
apart from the graffiti, have I noticed any sort of talk in like the bars or the cafes of anything, or is it all just?
You've not been in the bars and cafes yet, but the basic background sort of gist that you're getting is that although Aranasea is on paper run by the Aslan,
not for long.
Not for long. It's the humans that run the show, really.
Okay.
They sort of make all the decisions. The Aslan are sort of almost distant figureheads.
Okay. And I guess there's no sign of any sort of local people denouncing all of this graffiti, as everyone is accepting that this is the way it is, or is there like a?
It looks pretty tolerated.
Okay.
Now, Zim, could you make a science self-ontology roll?
Oh, yes.
That does sound like something Zim could do.
I can indeed. And I shall do it with my education. Oh. No, yeah, education. Oh.
Yeah.
Not so good.
Yeah, you're not really seeing anything into that, really.
No, I know what it is. Zim's got his head in books, actual print hardback copies of books, and he's been studying Five Great Races, and he's only got up to the letter K for Cree. He's reading it in reverse.
Okay.
Trying to distract himself from Lydia's flirtations.
Unusual subroutines.
Subroutines. Now, it's perfect that Bill's just rejoined us. So, Bill, when you were drinking last night, you said, I wonder if one of these Aslan guys would join us. Be handy to have a couple of burly Aslan. And that guy who boxed you, there's an opportunity here if you want to try and recruit him. Okay, you have to make a persuade. You have to make a persuade roll.
Oh dear.
But I'm going to allow you to use strength as a modifier because they respect strength.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That sounds.
It's
good.
not that you definitely have to take him now, but if you get this roll, he's going to be there as a crew member should you want him.
So a persuade roll. Let me see if I got. I don't know. Yes, I have got persuade. Good. Okay. Right. So, and you said strength as my modifier. Let's do that.
This is like the full crew. This is like 6
Up
players.
roll.
I've
It's
never had a game with
amazing.
6 players before. Shit.
Right.
Admirable though, Mike. Admirable, mate.
You ready?
I'd struggle.
I'm ready.
Oh.
You've done it.
Oh.
Nice one,
You've done
Bill.
it. Yeah. You've done it. So this is the. I mean, you've seen the pictures of the guys. Where would it be? He's got a name, you see. Where would it be? I'm gonna see. His name is Railia. Raiy or Ralyir. Ralia.
Alia.
Ralia. And he's expressed an interest. He's a bit bored of kind of the easy life on RNSA. And he's expressed an interest in maybe joining the crew. So it doesn't have to be now, could be at some point in the future. But if you decide you kind of want to take him on, he's there with you.
That could be cool.
I can see Billum sort of like his kind of he's sort of there in the morning. He's sort of like clicking his jaw in place, and he sort of walks up to the Aslan that he fought the night before. He says that was well met last night. I'm not quite sure what came over me, but I feel you held your own well.
You did all right there, fella.
You did all right there, fella. Let's do some healing on Bill. So,
Please, lads.
Has anyone got first aid apart from Dr. Zim, who is not there? Has anyone got medic, rather, who could have given him some medical
I've got
attention?
medic
Okay, so what's your medic skill?
1.
I also have
Okay.
medic 1, but I would rather somebody else did it because Dax is feeling under the weather.
Okay, so make a medic check.
I've also got a medikit, but I probably wouldn't have it on me if it was just out. I would have left it at home. So medic with int.
Yeah, or education, doesn't matter.
I'll do education. Just much better for me. Okay.
See how good your bedside manner is.
Oh, pretty good.
Ooh, it's not bad.
So Bill, you can heal 2 points.
I'll give you a warm flannel. Some aspirin.
He's going to probably need, if you've still got some injured stats.
Oh yeah, massively so. I've still got 5 points on Dex and 8 on Endurance. So
Okay, so you're going to need a bit more because you've got some cuts basically that split. They're going to need some little stitches. So
You got really beaten up.
Yeah, he got
Yeah,
battered to shit.
you might even have a broken rib. So Dr. Zim's going to have to take care of that. But Kel's just going to patch you up a little bit there with a
good night's sleep. Doesn't that fix everything? One good night's sleep.
If only we were playing D&D.
Right. So what do you want to do? We've got our scenes here. So you're basically. Oh, forgot something else. So as you're there, and Dax is kind of wrestling with Jory, Ip, and Kirsch, who have been fighting. Dr. Zim, can you make a sense? Actually, can anyone who's got electronic sensors make a sensors check? And you'll get, because the coup has military sensors, you get a +2. to the modifier.
I've got flat electronics. Does that count? Or does it have to
Yeah.
be specifically sensitive?
No, electronics would be okay. Get +2.
Can Zim still make a roll?
Yep, we can both do it.
And is there any characteristics in education with that?
Oh, effector 3, Kel.
Okay, Kel, you're the one who notices it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess during that kind of bit of a fight, everyone's kind of watching. There's a bit of a fracas. People are kind of maybe looking at Reytar's kind of newly shaven head, and there's that little bit of a chaotic kind of disturbance. The coup is reporting 2 ships that have appeared in orbit over the planet, and that one has taken up a position adjacent to the other, adjacent to that, the kimono.
Oh, shit.
And another one is heading down to the starport.
Down to the downport?
Down to the downport.
When you say adjacent to, is it sort of like mirroring it? Or is it sort of right next to it as other friends? Or is it more like
adjacent in a parallel position?
Do we have any information on the identifiers of these starships? Presumably they got transponders on?
They do. So the one that is, and I can actually show you some pictures of these. We don't need to keep these quiet. Where's our handouts? Ships. The one that appears parallel to the kimono is a ship called the Arshad.
Oh,
It's a close escort.
Right.
Does it look a bit familiar, that ship? Seen it somewhere before, haven't we?
We have. I recognise the name.
Yeah, it's the Arshad, and it's taken a parallel position adjacent to the kimono. It's a close escort as well, 400 tons, but it's a different class. I can't quite remember what class it is, but it's basically a similar kind of spec. And there's a ship that's coming down to the starport. Now, this is a ship called the Sincerity.
That's our model, isn't it?
No. Do you remember when you guys boarded the goddess Astoria?
Yep.
And remember when you were on the ship and that patrol cruiser?
Yep. And we talked our way out of it.
Yeah, that's the ship.
The actual ship.
That's the ship. That's the actual ship. It's the same ship.
Fuck.
It's the Sincerity. You met the captain of that ship.
We did.
Yeah, here he is. You met him.
Oh, blast from the past.
Yeah. Lieutenant Harold Nash. Women love him. Men want to be him.
Dax doesn't. He's only got one curly side to his moustache.
And this ship is coming down. It starts to move. It's going to start to move slowly. I mean, you could take off if you want, but it's going to start to move. What do you want to do? You've got time to take off if you want. You could get out of Dodge there.
So what's the history with the crew and the ship?
You can tell us. Go on, tell us, Dax, and tell us, Bill. Tell us.
So, let us spin you a yarn. My recollection, and it's a long time ago, is we boarded the Goddess Astoria, the luxury yacht of nobles.
You stole.
We did steal it in the end. We boarded it originally to steal it, to be fair, and the nobles were all being dickheads, and they were throwing serfs.
Did you board it in a pirate action, or were you invited on board?
No, we boarded it. Yeah, we chose to invite ourselves on board.
Tricked yourself.
They didn't have like a distress beacon. That's my question.
Yeah.
They
They did.
Misjumps.
Yeah, they'd misjumped, and they were calling for they were calling a distress beacon. We went to give them aid, and we found that their primary means of entertainment was taking serfs and throwing them out of the airlocks and watching them drop to their deaths.
Well, Canastilia 6 has a good use of serfs, but we won't get to that. Right?
Yes. So we disagreed with that policy, and we rounded up the nobles and said,
demonstrated with them roughly.
Yeah, well, we didn't mean to roughly. We just rounded them up and said, you're not going to be doing that anymore. And then accidentally, Billum shot his gloop gun and melted the face of one of the noble ladies off. it wasn't meant to happen.
Accidentally.
Yeah, completely. Like we
His
weren't.
finger slipped onto the trigger.
There was
right, that scene in the car. It was basically that.
Yeah.
Oh, your voice is a bit stroby there, Bill.
It's emotion from his recollection of melting this noble lady's face. There was a moment where there were some Marines aboard the ship, or some armed security people aboard the ship, and there was a bit of a standoff because we'd gone to assist them, but then we saw how nice the ship was inside, and we thought we'd quite like this. But before we decided to take it, we realised they were being arseholes, so we said, don't be arseholes anymore, at which point their militarised guards...
No, their militarised guards fought you, didn't they?
They did. They sort of drew arms, we fought them, and then in the crossfire, Billum accidentally melted a noble's face. So we thought, fuck it, we killed all the guards. We took the remaining nobles prisoner and put them into stasis.
Sure.
And we were just about to make off with the Goddess Astoria. We did some repairs on it, and we got the engine running, and we were just about to make off with it when this handsome devil turned up to see what was going on.
And what's his authority?
He's the captain of an Imperial patrol ship.
Sure. So he's got like governmental
on an anti-piracy action.
Fine.
They were there coming to kind of answer the beacon.
To assist.
Yeah.
To assist. But when he got there, these guys pretended to be the captains.
We did. We took their clothes and we got him and his... Did we not get him and his crew to help us fix the broken engine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So did he see the coup, or did he only see the goddess?
Didn't see the coup.
No. But
He
won't-
saw Dax and Zim, though, I think.
he won't recognise the ship, but he'll know Dax, Sim and Billum. If he sort of recognises us, he'll realise that we were in the captain's sort of clothing and we claimed ownership of the ship and said we'd sent out the beacon.
Well, that was years ago. You could easily have got a new ship since then. It's not it's
yeah.
not a criminal.
It's about a year ago.
guilty.
Yeah, we can... Oh, thank you, love. We can definitely talk our way out of it. I don't think we need to sort of take off and hide or anything, because I don't think they saw
you at the end of a piracy action, but
Yeah.
you convinced him that you were innocent.
Yeah, and it was our ship.
It was your ship, yeah.
So he might just say, how's the Goddess Astoria doing? And we'll say, oh, well, if you've read the news, it got stolen. Like, after you guys left, somebody else responded to the beacon, and they immediately disabled our communications, and they took the ship from us and dropped us off at a nearby planet, and we've been sort of working our way back up as traders. Yeah.
Or kidnap the passengers.
Yeah, and we assume the passengers are dead.
I've caught up. Thank you.
And what you coming to do? This ship is coming in to support. You could blast off.
Shooting them.
That's not
try and
suspicious.
Get out of there.
No.
You're probably going to be seen.
Not Star Wars, mate.
Yeah.
Or what I'm going to say is you could just see what happens.
Yeah, I think we've got to play that play because we've got a different crew now, on top of the few of us he might recognise, and he's less likely to recognise us in our scruffy spacer clothes.
We'll see.
And that's only if we meet him face to face. But also, if he does, we'll talk a convincing story. But we've got things to do on this planet, and we need to know if their arrival, if it's directly related to the Martin II, then it's going to make our next job more difficult.
So this ship, the Sincerity, appears gradually down from the star, down from orbit, and starts to move quite slowly over the starport. And it starts. There's a number of ships in port. You've got the Hopeful Wanderer, if you remember, owned by
that old couple, wasn't it?
That old couple, yeah. That's Birth. You've got the Martin II. You've got a group of other kind of like ragtag small vessels, little shuttles and things. And this ship starts to scan the other ships that are down there.
Oh.
Now, the other problem is
large eclairs.
They might not know the coup from there, but in Cordan, like a month or so ago, we blasted out, or a few months ago, we blasted out with a known fugitive and killed some people. What
you can do, what we're going to do here, I'm going to tell you, it's metagaming it a little bit. You can disguise the Harrier. Now the Harrier. That's
exactly what I was going to say. Is we've got the cloaking field. Can we disguise the Harrier as a different? No.
What you've got is the Harrier's got military grade sensors. Or no, it's got military. It's got like if you look on your ship sheet.
It's got a holographic, whatever it is, isn't it?
It has.
Look like something else.
it's got holographic hull, but in a way, it's got something a bit better than that. So if you pull up the
a large inflatable Imperial ship,
and you go onto your you got your ship sheet there, have
yeah,
you?
yeah.
If you go down,
The
you
old components.
have got You've got advanced sensors, tech level 15.
Yep.
That basically give you +2 to electronic rolls.
Yep.
And then you've got what's called a countermeasure suite, which gives you +4.
Yes.
That countermeasure suite could be upgraded to advanced countermeasures, which would give you +6.
Right.
So that's the potential. You could have that upgraded if you get the money. So this Sincerity is scanning the ships on the downport. What you could do is you could disguise your identity with that electronics roll. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an opposed electronics roll. From the yes, so get your dice ready.
I don't fear the Goddess Astoria connection. I do fear the Reytar connection.
This has got to be a Doctor Zim one, hasn't it?
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping so. I've got the skills for it, lads.
And the int and the education, you know.
Can I assist it? Can I do like a...
Yes, please.
Task chain.
If he fails, I'll let you use the effects from his roll as a task chain. How's that? You might be able to save the day.
Sure, I mean, it seems better at this, but I have a bit about it for it, so I just wondered if I could give him a boost.
It's the look of the dice, though, isn't it? It's the look of the dice.
Goddamn role-playing games, why can't we just say what we do?
Yeah.
Dax will jump into space and punch them all.
I've got electronics, sensors.
Electronic sensors. So, you know what? This is going to be quite...
Robotics, cybernetics.
Nope. It's an electronic sensors roll with intelligence or education.
Okay, I think that'll be... well, doesn't make any difference because they're both good.
And then
a +6. So unless you really fuck it up...
But presumably it's quite a tricky roll.
Well, it is... Right. How do it like if I'm using computers and sensors, do I combine the skills by clicking on something to do a task chain or something?
No, just do the roll and add +6 to your... It'll be a custom dice modifier.
Okay. Custom dice modifier.
+6.
So just put 6.
I think it should be just... I think just put 6. I don't think you have to put +6. I think it's probably just 6.
And can I use a characteristic modifier?
Yeah, intelligence or education.
Intelligence. Okay. Let's give that a go. Come on.
Oh, 16.
Beat that, right.
Sim is the Mechon.
Warfare, sensor ops. He's going to use his intellect.
Ooh.
Oh, you
fuck.
Finger. Oh, no, is that Kel?
Wasn't me.
No, that's the Navy sensor guy.
That's the Navy sensor guy who rolled a natural 12. But you know what? You rolled a 16, so you beat him.
Oh, thank God for that.
So I guess as the ship's coming in, we realise it, then Sim leaps over to the sensor console and starts jamming it, trying to hide our transponder and muffle the signal.
You've disguised your data. You just look like an ordinary trading vessel.
But I want two lines of
ice cream vendor to the stars.
I want to get 2 lines from Zim as to how he's done that, because that's like the best they could have possibly done on that roll. Like as you're like, oh yeah, we've covered it. You can see that their sensors are breaking the wall or whatever. Tell us how you did it.
Yeah.
That's...
How did you do it? What happened?
Well, it was relatively simple, gentlemen. All I did was took fragments of data from the surrounding vehicles in the starports and made a composite hull of our ship super overlaid our ship. So the scanning ship, of course, has already received this data. I have reintegrated it and put it in this format, so when it scans us, it's already reflecting back data from other ships it's already scanned. But to their sensors, even as it's as sufficient as they have, would appear that we are just a normal ship.
Dax will just sort of nod and go, that sounds fucking fantastic.
These sensors are very, very complex on this system, on this ship, but she's so lovely to work with.
It really is lovely. And with that, the Sincerity sort of starts to bank off to the side and booms across the jungle and goes back up into orbit. But, gentlemen, you now have 2 ships which are in orbit. 2 of these Imperial
Is the Sincerity now... Can we tell whether it's completely leaving orbit? It's done its scan.
Starts to head towards the jump. It's starting to head out towards the jump.
So it's just the other 2 that are hanging around.
It's just the other 2, the Arshad and the Kimono. These are both close escorts.
The Arshad is making my brain itch because we've encountered it before, and for once I can't quite place where, and I don't like that. It'll come to me.
What do you want to do next, gentlemen? So basically, I've got a number of things that you said you wanted to do.
Yes.
There's carousing in Startown.
Yeah.
1 or 2 or all could do that. There is there's also, we could go and meet Bell and Tyler on their little ship, which is parked just adjacent. Kel had said about he wanted to do some close infiltration of the ship, so he's particularly interested in the vault. Bill had said he wanted to potentially do some more distant recon of the ship with Silek.
Yeah, military recon.
Yeah. Reytar wanted to go and meet the APA Aerospace Port Authority guy. So we could do it with chunks of you, with all of you, do it in order. It doesn't matter. What do you want to do first?
I mean, I think we'd said last week that we would probably try and split the party at this point because we have different specialisms, and like Kel going to talk to somebody as a noble who is interested in the ship is not helped by a couple of vagabonds dragging along behind him. Reytar going to meet the APA guy with Dax sort of dragging his feet and making stupid dick jokes is not helpful. And Dax going to a bar dragging Celestinius along with him, who obviously doesn't belong in a really downtrodden shitty bar, probably doesn't work. But I'm happy to split anyway. So from Dax's point of view, Dax would like to, given they're adjacent, Dax would like to go and see Bell and Tyler because we haven't seen them, and it's something that either Bill or Zim could definitely come with him for because they've met them before.
It's the closest. They're the closest to you.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go. Let's take the scene to Bell and Tyler.
I'd like to do that, and then Dax will sort of carouse in the shittiest dive bar he can find, and just try and see if there's any crew in there from the Martin II.
Yeah. Okay. So Zim and Bill, do you want to go and join them, or does anyone else want to go as well? Do you all want to go, or?
I was wondering if Kel wanted to take advantage of Zim's social class as well, and we could pretend to be Lord in it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know exactly how I was going to sort of bluff my way in. Can you forge any kind of documents? Is that a thing that you have the skills to do? I don't want to risk it. I'd rather just bluff it with like social engineering.
Go and speak to them and see what's
use a bit of dodgy fake ID.
I've got administration, but I haven't got skill in deception. However, Kel, if you've got deception as a skill, you could give me some pointers. Or could give Zim pointers on what would be a useful ruse on like dates and names and stuff like that, and I could run it through the computers.
Yeah, so if I can give Zim some pointers on just some like fake ID to make me look like an Imperial official who's come to investigate the progress of the repair work. So that the idea is I go in and ask them some questions. I don't want to find out some situations, but I want to have some ideas.
Imperial auditors.
Yeah, that kind of thing. In order to investigate, to just checking up on
interstellar shipping.
Yeah, what you could say is you're like an Imperial kind of
like an envoy
attaché on the planet that you've just come to offer kind of any help or something.
So any kind of formal ID that backs up that claim would be better than me just trying to bullshit.
Yeah, so Zim could you make an electronics role? Because I was going to... Or would it be an admin role? No, I guess it'd be an admin role, wouldn't it?
Okay.
But you're going to do blind GM role.
Okay. And can I add a characteristic modifier?
Yeah, intelligence or education again.
And there's a drop down at the top that says public role, and you can change it to blind GM.
Blind GM.
And then nobody knows apart from Mike, as to whether or not it's successful, which I love. It's a great little Foundry edition.
I've just seen that.
Have you?
Yeah.
Did you do blind GM or private GM?
No, blind GM.
Mine worked. I couldn't see it.
Well, let me do it again, Mike.
Was it high enough? If it's high enough.
Yeah. Well,
No, it was. Right. Mode, public role. No.
I didn't
Is it private GM role?
When you click on your admin skill. Yeah, click on your admin skill.
Oh yes, sorry. Yes, you have to click on your admin skill. There's a box in there. That's where.
Yeah, when you click admin skill, and the box comes up, it's in that blind GM role.
Yeah, where it says mode, public, or
yes.
Yeah, click it there.
Private GM role. Yeah.
Blind.
Blind.
Private is you and the GM can see it. Blind is no one can see it apart from the GM.
That's fine. Yeah, thank you, gentlemen.
You think you've done a really good job.
I've got experience with false IDs, and do I look at it and think, "God, this looks like a given"? Did it?
Have you got
or do
skill?
I think it looks professional?
You're an espionage.
I've got admin, I've got deception, I've got
admin or deception, or investigate. I think either of those would be valid.
I'll do investigate because it's not a deception one. I'll do an education.
Yeah, you're not trying to deceive him into thinking you believe his idea is good.
So I'm looking at the ID that he's given me, and I got it.
It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. It's got the Imperial seal. It looks really good. Yeah,
it's got like the holographic. You tilt it in the light, and it's got the.
Yeah. It's even on the nice paper as well.
It's done a good job.
It's laminated.
Cool.
Really good, yeah. Okay, so you guys are doing that, and we'll come to that scene in a bit because. I'm going to say, Bill, do you want to go over and see this couple? Because you've met them before, although you might not necessarily remember it. Do you want to go over, Bill?
Yeah. So can you? Yeah. I can see it's working now. So Billem's like when Kel says that he's going to go right up to the ship, he sort of looks at Silic and goes, like, as in kind of that was the whole point of them sort of scouring it from afar, was to sort of see what was going on there. So he kind of nods to Silic and goes, just keep an eye on him. So sort of Silic's going to sort of track and just keep keep a sort of lookout, overwatch sort of thing as well. They got up to the ship, and he so then Billem's going to join Dax going over to see the couple.
Well, and Tyler. Okay, so you start heading over towards the ship, and it's really cute, really, because they've got like a little picket fence. They've got like adjacent to the ship. There's like a tarp. There's like a lean-to kind of thing with like a rain shelter. Because it's tropical, isn't it? So it rains, get these kind of downpours. And there's a little picket fence around the outside of it with a bit of fake grass. And they're like having a barbecue. They're having a barbecue. So here's the couple themselves.
Was it Necrino that we met them?
You met them first on Necrino.
That's right.
And then you met them again on
Paul?
Calcai Salute.
Oh yeah, we met them on Calcai Salute. That's right.
Yeah. So that's him, and that's that's her. So that's there. Oh, have I just shared everything with you? Might have just shared everything with you.
I just saw the two photos.
Right. Okay. That's okay. But also, there's another guy with them. And you're sort of heading over. There's this other guy.
Oh.
And they're sat there having a few beers and, cooking some sausages, and there's the smell of sizzling sausages and bacon. And as you sort of walk over, Tyler's kind of like griddling and he's chatting to this guy, and the guy's kind of sat there with a kind of some kind of like pipe, vaping kind of pipe. And Tyler looks over and there's just this moment of blank expression, and he just goes, "Holy shit." And he's like, "Holy shit, Dax Gender and Bill and Valeris. Holy crap, get your asses over here, boys."
I'm glad you remember us. We saw the ship. We thought we'd come and say hello. It's been a while.
And they're like, oh my God, fucking Jesus H. Christ, or Space Jesus H. Christ. And they come over and Belle starts kind of like, come and sit down, get some chairs out. Oh, massive hugs. There's like shaking of hands, and we haven't seen you for ages. How's it going? What you been up to?
Well, all space is a big place. We've been keeping
Wow.
ourselves busy.
About you, Bill, Big Bill. There, you don't get any smaller, do you?
No, well, it's been quite a journey since we last saw you.
And Bill at this point is still absolutely shit kicked. Like,
Yeah, like black eyes and sort of, kind of still, wincing as he sits down and stuff.
Okay. So they're like, tell us about your adventure. Come and sit down, have a beer, crack open a bud, have like have a bite to eat. You guys must be hungry. You probably are hungry again by now. And you start kind of chat. They're sort of chit chatting, and they're like, "This is their hometown. This is their hometown. This is our hometown." And we've got like a private pad here, private landing pad. We have to pay, maintenance and whatnot. But we like to come back here and kick back and relax a little bit. And it's amazing. What a coincidence, really, considering how big space is. What a coincidence to see you.
I mean, you said to us that your home base was Arnasir, and this is the first time we stopped here. We didn't think we'd find you at home. You guys are wanderers.
Oh, yeah, well, we like to get out a little bit, quite a lot, but this time of year, it's nice here to kind of like come back and chill. What brings you here, anyway?
We're doing a bit of trading, us. We had to work many years ago up at Calcai Salute. We helped the government up there. We helped Jedico with the issues they were having.
I heard about that. Sorry. I heard about that. You saved that city. Fucking hell, that was like pretty epic stuff. All over the news of that was all over the subsector. Your faces were proper, were all over the news.
And Dax's face he just winces just a little bit. He's too hungover to hide it. He's like, I wasn't happy with that. I'm a very private man. But, it was a long time ago. It's all good. Who's your friend?
The guy stands up and he's like, he's got because my range of accents is okay, but there's only so many you can do. Aporo Rossi, and he's basically like a New York businessman, and he stands up and he shakes your hand and he says, "I'm a Starship dealer, spare parts. Just renting a room here. I do some business on the Starpod. What brings you guys here?" Reytar, you've met this guy before. Do you remember?
I was just gonna say.
Well, Reytar bought the surfboards from him, didn't he? Was he the broker?
Gaza.
Yeah.
Surfboards from Gaza. But you did meet this guy at the. But you're not at this situation. But you did meet this guy at the casino.
Yeah.
That's right. Are we aware of that? I'm going for either GM rule, Reytar rule, whatever you like.
Probably you wouldn't be aware of it.
No, I certainly was playing it that we didn't recognise him, but
you don't recognise him.
Yeah, okay.
And he's like, I'm I'm doing some business here on the planet. A little bit of I sell spare parts and whatnot. If you need any spare parts, pretty fancy machine you got over there. Sort of sees it parts over there.
Well, we're always looking for spare parts, my friend. You know what it's like as a small independent trader. Me and Bill over here, we try and keep it running. We try and do a bit of trading, see the stars. It's hard work.
Yeah, Willem will be like, if you've got an inventory, send it over. We'll have a look through and let you know if there's any of your parts that we need.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll ping it to you. I'll ping it to your comm straight away. And then Bell's like, gotta be make sure you're careful out there these days as well, because it can be pretty dangerous out there. But what are your plans here? Now you're here. Are you doing a bit of trading as well?
Yeah, we've been doing a little bit of trading. It's a colleague of ours bought some surfboards. Arnasir makes the good surfboards.
The best. Everyone knows they're absolutely the best. Yeah.
You
take them back to Calexicool and make a killing.
You trade in the high commodities. You sell them where you can, and that's the life. Buy low, sell high. All of that nonsense. But other than that, as long as we're flying, we're happy. Now you two. You must have seen some stuff. Tell me the rumours. I want to hear about the weirder parts of space.
Let's make a roll on the rumour table, shall we?
Yeah.
What do you want to What do you want to talk about? Like what we've seen on our travels, or maybe what's going on downtown? Hey, and that poor Rossi goes, "Hey, I met a guy who was supposed to bought some surfboards up on the high part a few months ago. Is it the same guy? Kind of goofy looking with long dark hair?"
Ah, you might have met a friend of ours, yeah. And Dax at this point is going to pause because he doesn't know what name Reytar used, and he certainly doesn't want to use Reytar's real name, even if he did use it, because it's a dirty word in these places. He'll say, yeah, we probably did buy some surfboards. Quite very well. We certainly bought some surfboards recently. It could have been our fella.
Okay.
Long hair, skinny face.
Yeah, that's him. Kind of goofy looking. Be nice to see him again. Yeah, he seemed like a solid guy.
So
pretty clever on the old cards.
We could drag him over here, but he's a big politician these days. It's hard to keep track of these fellas.
Let's make a roll on the general rumors of the Reach table, shall we?
And Dax's emphasis, and Bill might have a very different feel for this. Dax's emphasis is, especially after the encounter with the Aloha, he doesn't really care about politics or any of the rest of it. He wants to hear about the weird shit in space.
You know what they say? That tech world, the scientists on tech world, all sorts of illegal, crazy experiments.
Really?
And the Imperium runs tech world, and it has it based in the Reach for kind of like, you know what they say? Deniable assets.
Ooh.
It's just what I heard.
Dax is just going to briefly glance down at his right arm and just flex his fingers and say, yeah, you never know when that kind of stuff could come in useful.
No, yeah. Should be careful as well if you're heading out that way. Pilot says here, trying to sort of flip from one accent to the other, it's really tricky.
It is really difficult.
It's really difficult. And he's like, you got to be careful out there. If you're heading out that way to Tech World, watch yourself in the Exy system. Do you remember where the Exy system was, guys?
Yeah, Exy was galactic, sort of northwest of Tech World. There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Was Exy the system that had the rumour of the ship that the Eliza Daniken?
The Eliza Daniken, and it's where you pirated the Goddess Astoria.
It was, yeah, because we thought
that's where it is at the moment.
We parked it there. Yeah, so the Eliza Daniken was the ship that was lost in a gas giant.
Yeah,
the ghost ship.
The ghost ship, the ghost ship. So Tyler's like, just watch yourself if you're out that way there. If you decide to kind of go that way towards Tech World, it's we've seen some crazy shit out there recently. Just the other week, actually, that big old badass pirate, Hrol Irontooth, the Aslan pirate.
I heard of him.
Seen some of his ships out there by the gas giant.
Really? How many ships?
About 3 or 4. Looked like they were up to no good.
That's a serious fleet for a pirate. That draws some attention.
Scary thing is, one of them's a big fuck-off Aslan warship.
We'll watch ourselves out there. As a small, independent, friendly trader, you don't want to get messed up with pirates or Aslan, or both.
Yes. Stay away from the gas giants out there. Stay at port. You'll be safe. That monster was looked pretty mean.
And Dax will look.
Do you remember Hrol Irontooth?
I remember the name.
Let's just go on to your pirates if you go into your library data, Pirate Lords of the Reach.
I was going to say, wasn't he one of the Pirate Lords of Teve?
He's one of the Pirate Lords of Teve. He's an Aslan outcast who fled the High Rate with a retinue of 12 warships, including a Halehiki-class pocket warship.
That's right.
And his name comes from his cybernetically enhanced jaws, which are strong enough to bite through battle dress.
This is the example.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
his logo. That's his logo.
Right.
Battle dress being power armor.
Battle dress being like power armor. Yeah, go for it, mate. Go for it, yeah.
That's insane. Okay, well...
So watch yourself.
Which we wouldn't get ourselves mixed up with some kind of pirate lord. That's not our business at all. But...
It's dangerous.
Thank you for the warning, my friends. That's, it's great. And Dax is shoveling up the greasiest food he can find. He's trying to sort of quell the worst of the bottom effects of the hangover, and not sniffle and wipe his arm on his sleeve too much, but he's feeling ropey. But he's going to let them sort of do the majority of the talking.
Do you want to ask anything about the Martin II or not?
Yeah. He'll make the point. He'll just say, the strong Imperial presence in the system. I assume it's to do with this treasure ship everyone's talking about. We heard about it at the High Port. This crashed treasure ship. That's
yeah.
I'm surprised
really
they've not got. I'm surprised they've not got more people watching it. Like there's a ship up there. He's not going to let slip that he knows that there's another ship joining you. So they got an escort up there, but I'd be worried it'd draw pirates to this system.
Well, you know what they say, like that they call them a bank with a maneuver drive is what they call those ships.
I've no idea. Like we couldn't trade in the volumes. There's not a ship big enough for us to fit our Cordanian pear shipments in to make the money. But like, what kind of things do they carry in those big buggers to have an escort like that?
Roll 1d6, please, Dax.
Here we go. 2.
I'm going to give you 2 rolls on the treasure ship rumor table.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
What do I need to roll?
I'm going to roll it for you.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Well, you know what they say. There's a marine detachment on the ship, on the Martin II. And the commander, Hark, is a cyborg.
Oh my god, I've never seen a robot up close. That'd be amazing.
Well, he's human, but he's got a lot of implants.
Wow. That must be amazing. Implants. I imagine he's quite strong and quite fast.
Oh shit.
Oh, Dax rocking it. So I got us the deck plans last time. I got us the crew manifest this time. Now this is a good one, because if there is sabotage, it would be interesting to run the crew manifest through some databases. I want to throw that data at Reytar.
Let's show you then the crew manifest. I'm going to put this in your system data at the bottom of your Aranacea, because you've got the deck plan there.
Yeah.
Crew roster, kind of there, and let's. Where's it gone to? Oh, hang on. It's disappeared off. Let's try again. Here we go.
There it is.
Yeah. Okay. So there it is.
Roster spelled wrong, but it's spelled in a spacey way, so that's fine.
Nice one, Mike.
Yeah, that's a future roster spelling. That's how the Imperium do it.
Yeah,
it's the Federation's plans.
Spelling is not my strong point.
Sorry.
This is the roster for the ship.
So there's Hark, who is the Marine Staff Sergeant, who is rumoured to be almost full Borg, with a crew of 6 Marines, one of whom appears to be dead. So that looks like.
I'm so happy.
Well, that makes it a lot easier. I mean, there's some pretty cybered up faces in that crew, but that's all right. Now,
can I just ask, guys? Mike, did you make that?
Yeah.
Sweet.
I don't know if you're going to.
Photoshop.
I don't know if timing-wise that could be said to Calistinius before he tries to bluff his way onto the ship, because this will be.
Yeah,
Dax's plan was to immediately send that to Kel, Zim, and Reytar.
Ping it straight across.
Yeah, ping it straight across.
Perfect.
And just say, just say, so you've got an idea, and he's going to specifically point out to Reytar, see if you can find any background on these guys. But he's going to make a little note on there and just say, if we believe the rumour that it was a sabotage in engineering, if we can get any information on some of those mechanics, they might be involved in the chief engineer's dead, a couple of the mechanics are dead.
Yeah.
Some of those mechanics might be involved in the potential sabotage.
I also tend to suspect that RIP doesn't necessarily mean RIP. I suspect there
Rest in
could
peace,
be...
it means.
I understand that, but what Reytar would imply is that there is a chance that some who claim to be dead maybe part of the whole plot. So I wouldn't rule
Yes.
out. I wouldn't rule out on checking the dead characters.
Yeah.
And the fact that we don't have their photos.
Yes.
Is slightly actually upsetting.
And we also we really want
give GM an idea or what? Like this.
Give him the extra fucking work.
Yeah. Just get on mid-journey. Get on mid-journey, boy. We really want the information on the dead people, because the way like Dax is going to send a couple of short messages and just go, "Whoa, that's unbelievable," and he'll be making conversation. Say, how did you come by this? Like, this has got to be secured and stuff.
It's actually a poor Rossi who gives it, and he's like, "You can have that, because I've seen your interest here. I could actually, I'm actually looking to recruit someone. I've got a little proposition for you. They need spare parts. I have spare parts. I want to find out what kind of margin I can charge. What kind of stuff they need. Basically, how much of an extortionate margin I can charge."
Well, what I would say here, my friend, I'm a gatherer of intelligence. I'm a man of the galaxy, and I like stories. And you've given me here a fantastic story. So
yes,
we'll do what we can do as traders to find you the best profit margin with these guys. Because our interest is getting them repaired and off planet as quick as possible. The Imperium has to keep moving and all that. But
we shall facilitate.
Keeps us traders safe. But while we're safe, we'll make sure there's a kickback for you, and maybe you repay us in kind, and we'll do some purchases from you for the upgrades of our ship.
Yeah, let's not talk about money. Let's just talk about making friends and doing each other favors.
I'm far too tired for business, my friend. I've had a busy couple of days, but in the future, I think you and I could be strong, firm friends, and you could be an asset to our operation. But in the meantime, he's pinging it to Kel, he's pinging it to Zim, and then to Reytar, he's like, find out everything you can about these people, and are the dead ones dead? And then from the engineering team, who might have been involved in taking the ship down, if that rumour's true.
Okay. So
guys,
maybe
just real quick, I'm going to head off.
Okay. Buddy.
I'm going to continue. When this uploads, I'll continue from this point. But
Mate,
it's been lovely just to see all your faces again.
Yeah, and you as well, Dan.
Hopefully see you all soon, all right?
Been wonderful to see you, buddy.
All right.
Stay safe, mate. We love you.
Good to see you, mate.
Love you.
We do. We love you.
Oh, brilliant to see him. Lovely.
That's nice.
Okay, so you've got...
He's gone now. We can call him a dickhead.
Yeah, twat. What do you want to do now? Should we do another scene? Should we play another scene?
Yeah, I think the Bell and Tyler scene has played well.
Yeah, we've done the Bell and Tyler scene. Actually, let's do Reytar. Little kind of. You want to go and meet this guy from the RNSA Port Authority. Where is his Yeah, let's take you to his office, shall we?
Can I just go and get a brew, guys? I'll be back in 5 minutes.
Go and get a brew. Let's have 5 minutes, and then we'll take you to his. That's a bit loud. That's better. Yeah, have a 5-minute break. And,
okay.
Can you see that image, guys?
Yep. That's looking. Oh, that's looking good. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for Pete. I'll be back in 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheers, Mike.
How you doing, Andy?
Oh, extremely well. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. So, whereabouts are you living at the minute? Do you say you're Chesterfield way or something, or?
Yes. So I do live nearby Matlock in a small village nearby. It's really lovely, and I got an Airbnb cottage, which is like a holiday home. And I asked them if they would like to rent it for me permanently. Which, cool. So for much lower price, of course, like for a decent price, actually. But it's just a perfect kind of summer cottage with front and back garden, and it's absolutely lovely. And landlord is very nice. So yeah, so I'm actually not too far away from you.
No. What are you doing at the minute? Are you still working for Orange, or are you working for someone else? Or...
For three.
Three,
Yeah, I do still work for them. I'm kind of all right, but if they want me to come back to the office, which chances are they might, because they do tend to move towards more office-centric jobs, I would probably don't want to come back. Just because it's way too peaceful and way too productive for me to live in this area.
Yeah.
I've lived in Reading for a year. It's horrible, as if in London. It's just not my cup of tea. So I'd have to consider options. But all around, that's the best area to
I've just got
definitely live.
hold on a minute. I've just got to take this call. It's my daughter
Yeah,
calling.
yeah.
Hold on.
No, that's really important.
Hey, little one.
Mike.
Yes, mate.
I've been meaning to ask. I don't really expect it to happen, but I just want to double check if that would be reasonable enough. So Reytar had this conversation with Silik, and I know we were supposed to take a skill and I kind of already took a skill. But to be fair, Reytar kind of took this skill without knowing this conversation with Silik. And there is one thing Reytar would potentially want to kind of change. Maybe he will have to spend a skill point in the future, but Reytar would want to, while repairing the base, he would want to try and see if he could improve his knowledge in explosives. Depending how relevant it is.
You have to get someone to train you.
All right.
But Select can use explosives.
And he loves you.
I'm not asking Silik to train me in explosives. I'll get it somewhere else. But this guy, he's walking on a thin line. I'll tell you. No, he's not. Everyone
was Reytar planning to bomb the ship, the treasure ship?
No, just the Silik. No.
Just
I didn't say that. Jem shouldn't know that.
Zim was having a plan.
Right, let's go and meet our representative from the Port Authority, isn't it? Is the word I was looking for there.
Right.
Okay, so this is the guy. This is his office.
I don't see the guy. Oh, I see the guy.
Here's the guy.
Wasn't he supposed to be an Aslan?
No, he's human. There's no Aslan really doing the work. He's a human.
This is his delegate.
This is the
one of his many.
I want to know his name.
Yeah, his name, if I get it right, is Kyagi Munma.
Oh.
Kyagi. It's Khiagi, Kyagi. Munma, Munmaa. Munma.
Okay. Can you double check, please? Is it the guy who Aslan's tend to have good relationship with, and who they asked to deal with a favor? Because I thought that was the concept, and for some reason I thought that the guy would be an Aslan guy who would be also interested in that events happening.
This guy
humans.
Yeah, this guy works for the planet. He works for Aranacea. He works for the Port Authority, and he's like a bit of a middle manager involved in. But he's kind of like basically you've been told he's one of us. He's a guy you can trust. He's a good guy. His job is involved in don't let his kind of appearance deceive you. He's involved in infrastructure, running, logistics, kind of like actually he's involved a lot in hospitality. So he kind of runs the restaurants, the supplies.
Yeah, we can
all
tell
that kind
that.
of stuff. Yeah, in the high port, and he's a kind of like chubby guy, pretty chubby guy.
At some point in the WhatsApp, you should post the utterly offensive mid-journey line you wrote to create this man.
Yeah, let's not do that. And you're in his office, and the office is hot in here. There's a slow fan moving overhead that gives off barely anything. The windows are open.
Saka, get another one.
But it's like the window might as well be a stone. It might as well be a fucking oven, basically, because it's really hot. It's really humid. There's like lizards scampering up the wall.
Geckos.
Little geckos kind of scampering up the wall, and the lizards kind of catch a little mouse and just kind of eats it live. So this fucking room is alive, basically. The whole starport's like that. You can't keep it out. And he's like, he's kind of looks a bit sweaty, and he looks a little bit nervous, and he kind of like, and he says, "I'm sorry to just." I'm going to voice for him, but he's like, sorry to disappoint you. I'm sorry to disappoint you, sir, that I'm not an Aslan, just a kind of good old Commodore garden human. And he shakes your hand, and it's like a weak grip, clammy hand, sweaty hand. Yeah, it's a sweaty hand. It's like holding a warm sponge. And he tells you to take a seat. And,
where's that hand been?
Wes. And he's got a poorly fitting tie and his shirt actually. You know when people get the buttons wrong on the shirt?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like that. And he says, the Lord Eckhart tells me you wanted to have a little chat about you wanted to have a little talk about some ideas you had on the high port.
1 second. Mike, is it potentially possible? Reytar would like to kind of come from the point of his existential crisis, and just for the scene to look better, is it possible to still present the image?
His head could be nicely shaved.
Is it possible to still present the image, assuming that's what Reytar will look like possibly a session ahead? I just would like the scene. No, okay.
No.
Oh, I can't wait for that surprise.
No, because you're talking about having some minor surgery.
Is it possible to assume that this image is just a shaved Reytar for now? Because
shaved Reytar, shaved, but you've done it nicely. You've done it properly now, and some of the nicks have healed.
All right, I would like for the team to just imagine that Reytar has this long-lasting effect from a drug. It's almost like drug hit that spot, which it's just now his trait, I guess. It's just like that's changed Reytar because of the drug and what has been kind of driving him to that. So Reytar would be very good.
I'd love that because Reytar has changed.
Is anyone with him? Sorry, anyone gone with him?
No.
So, yeah, I was going to say I'm only talking on behalf of Dax, but definitely no. But I love the idea that Reytar's had like a life-changing experience from the alien liquor, and Dax is in the middle of one from the contact with the LOI and the gas giant gamble. Like the crew might have a little mental shake-up in the next season.
Things could happen, yeah. Okay, so Reytar, what do you want to say to this guy? You've gone through a bit of a crisis, but you've tied yourself up a little bit. You've shaved your head nice and neat. Is there anything when you were talking about? You had some ideas for corporate espionage kind of stuff. Have you frozen, Reytar? You're frozen. Looks like you're asleep. Am I the only one he's frozen for?
No, he's frozen for everyone.
It's gone.
His internet has finally given up the ghost.
Looks like he's asleep. Done that.
Second there, it was touch and go with what it was.
Yeah. Well, should we? He's gone. Let's give him. See if he comes back on.
Yeah, yeah.
What we could do. Let's just.
Hey guys,
Here he is.
He's
here he
back.
is.
He's
Okay.
back.
hey,
Yeah. Okay. So what?
I'm
What?
very
What?
it's
That's
mobile
okay.
internet here.
What do you want to say to this guy now? What do
Yeah,
you want to
no,
say to
I'm
this guy,
back.
Kiaki?
So, previously, Reytar would have been enthusiastic about those kind of opportunities to deal with, and now he would be just starting conversation. Your buttons are wrong. Just blunt kind of, and like a little bit intimidation, not in a necessarily bad way, but just your buttons are wrong.
And he sort of looks down. And he says, "Oh yes, 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 yes. Okay, of course." And he starts kind of like bit flustered. Starts. It's fucking boiling in here. Why have I got this jacket on? Takes his jacket off, and he starts sort of doing it up. What? I'm quite busy actually. Quite busy. What can I do for you?
Well, if you're so busy, you probably should have prepared, and you probably know what Aslan Akaft has asked you about.
He didn't give
Did
me
you get his
details.
message?
No, just didn't give me details. It's his wife who deals with most of the kind of most of the kind of port bureaucracy. He just more of a figurehead, really.
We are ladies.
Well, I need something to happen, and I need this to happen soon. Then, there is a common interest, as a matter of urgency, of appointing me to a position of power in a high port. Does this sound crazy? Probably.
Yeah, it does sound crazy.
Does this sound crazy? Probably. Is it doable? Let's figure out. I was told it's potentially possible, and I would like to seek opportunities for this to happen.
I mean, we can arrange, like, we can definitely get you on some kind of board up there, but like, what for? Oh, you're frozen again.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm in. Are you in line with the interests of Lord and I would specify like Lord
Of course,
Akaft?
of course. He's told me everything.
Well, in this case, all you should know is that I'm following his interests here. I'm following Lord Akaft's interests.
I mean, that's great, but I mean, but what do you want me to do? Yes, you're talking about getting you on some kind of board, some kind of directorship. I mean, that's kind of doable, but people will, got to be careful about attracting interest. Yeah, we run the show up there, but we don't run everything.
Well, I'm primarily interested in having access to, let's say, in a broad terms, finances and tourists.
Impossible.
And impossible.
It's impossible. Financial. It's impossible. Like Ekaf didn't say that. Oh, fucking hell. Ekaf didn't say this. Like you've seen the port. I mean, you've been up there.
Yeah.
If you remember the port, it's this kind of tall. Let's just kind of
cock ring.
Sort of pull up. Yeah, it's the cock ring, isn't it? Here it is. There it is. You've got a circular kind of docking bay. Then you've got this tower, which is like a sort of business tower. So it looks like a cock ring, doesn't it? In fact, let's call it the cock ring in space. And he's like, what you're talking about there is yeah, Aranasir runs the high port, but Jedico runs the finances.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Aranasir has some way of accessing those finances. There must be something around there.
You'd think so.
About stock auditing,
Is there...
Reytar? Sorry, I'm not there, but you know what I mean.
Sorry?
Stock auditing, low level. gets your fingers in the till, but you can't take anything out just yet. That's the trick.
I will ask him. Sorry, what's the name of the guy?
Kiagi. Kiagi.
Kiagi. Kiagi, is it a matter of your personal interests, which you are probably getting here? And I would just hint towards. I'll just ask him straight away. Are you asking for a bribe, or are you actually saying it's impossible?
No,
because one thing is doable, another is not acceptable.
I'm not asking for a bribe, although, you know, if you've got a bribe, I'm more than happy to take it. What I'm saying is all the financial and trade data goes through Jedico office.
Yeah.
Now, the Jedico office is on the 74th floor of that tower. Okay? You can't get into the tower. I mean, not that you'd be thinking of it, but there's no weapons allowed in the tower. They've got sniffer dogs, security scanners. I mean, it's not that you would be doing that, but what I'm saying is it's max security. It's on the 74th floor. They've got there's about 250, 300 staff in that office. Armed security, 24/7. Biometric scanners. There's a pass and biometrics to get through security doors. You've got 3 zones. You've got reception. Then you've got what they call the hallows. Only Jedico staff can get into the hallows. And then you've got the inner core. Now, all the trade data is run through the computer core in the inner sanctum. To get in there, you're talking biometrics, you're talking kind of all sorts of kind of complex security systems. That's just to get in. And then when you get in, you're looking at a high-tech AI that gathers all the data and transmits it to Jedico. So even if you could get through one layer, there's another layer, then there's another layer, then you've got to get in, and only one person can enter the computer core room. I mean, I don't know, what is your infiltration skills?
No, apparently not that good.
Well, what are your computer hacking skills?
Well, I expected from the conversation with Lord Ackhaft,
he doesn't have a fucking clue what's going on.
Well, I kind of expected he would. Regardless, if you can't help with access to the financial data, which I was sort of relying on, I at least need to get access to the merchant data, to the traders data.
It's the same stuff. That you can get it, but it's controlled through the Jedico system. Like, you don't understand, man. You don't understand. Jedico, they take a cut of everything.
So
the fingers are in every pie. If you want to mess with it, you've got to mess with it at source.
We need Jedico access. Now, we're not without our roots into Jedico. They're not as powerful as Ackhaft. This was not the roadblock I was expecting.
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's fucking impossible.
I would like to roleplay Reytar, if that's okay.
Yes.
Well, fuck off then and don't waste my time.
Perfect. That's how a pirate plays, my friend.
Yes. Well, right. Okay then. So...
If you can't get what I kind of expected to happen based on my conversation with Aslan, there's no fucking reason to talk, and I'm not giving you any more information. It just seems like you wanted to get information from me just to tell me that it's impossible. Doesn't sound good. Could I bribe you? Could I intimidate you? Could I murder you? Maybe to some of those things. Will it work? You say it's impossible. Why the point of wasting bullets?
Listen. Like Ackhaft hasn't got a fucking clue how things actually work. He swans in, swans off again, goes hunting. He's got all these dreams. We're the guys who fucking run the show. He doesn't know what's actually happening. How would he know how the high port economy is run?
Perfect. And I'll quote that exactly that to Lord Akaft. I'll quote exactly that he doesn't have a fucking clue, and that's words. You know, maybe I'm really sorry. I underestimated your bravery. You're an extremely brave man. I'll be glad to pass on those words to Lord Akaft.
Shrugs.
And that's that. I will stand up and I'll get walking out.
All right, bye then. You walk out.
Yes, I do walk out.
Okay. Yeah. So, what do you think about that?
Well, I think it's about. It's either I push for the result by actually telling Lord Akaft that everything we have discussed is just
what you asked was you wanted to get access to the high port, and you wanted to be able to manipulate the trade data. So Ekaf doesn't know. Like, he's not going to say, "Oh yeah, we can do that easily." Because if he could do it, like, why has he not already done it? Like, it can be done, but
because it was our idea.
Yeah,
it was our idea. It wasn't his idea.
Reytar was looking to get on the APA board. Sorry, the ASA board.
You can do that. You can get on a board. You can get on a board.
There's no, like, if I don't get access to details about the finances.
Well, the problem is that the finances are run by another company.
Okay, but also there is no point of doing something if I can get access to the logs of the ships. You can
probably get access to the. You can get access to the ship. You can get access to kind of what ships are going in and out.
Well, he just told me I can't. So
no, but not to the financial trades that are going on through those ships. But you can get access to the ship to the ships that they're just the kind of docking manifest. You'd be able to get access to that, but not to the actual financial records of those ships, because that's all run by Jedico.
I will rewatch the recording, but I'm pretty sure we settled on that I can get access to finance. And my next question was about getting access to ships, and then he kept on saying that that's also around there, that Jedico.
Well, sorry, I misunderstood. And he says, like, "Well, so I misunderstood you. You won't be able to get access to finances just by, like, if we could get access to finances, why wouldn't we just do it? Why would we, like, why would they need you?" I guess I'm talking sort of GM there. Like, why would they need you if they could just get access to finances and just adjust them?
Well, I assume there are several reasons. There is a risk associated with the fact that there will be a guy manipulating data on the site. There is a trust element, which they might not have towards every human, and apparently they did trust us with their mission. I would imagine Aslans don't get generally jobs in the high port, especially not in financial sector. So they need a human.
The women might do, but they're not involved in the Jedico.
But also skill. Like Reytar's got skill in this neck of the woods.
And plus, it was our idea. They were thinking like primitive. I'm not saying it was GM's idea, but they were thinking like primitive animals in a way. They say, let's just force them to use. Let's just divert finances. Let's just force them to use our sort of land starport, on the planet.
You could still try and get access. Like, he's just telling you, it's impossible. But, like, it's up to you to decide whether it's impossible or not. He's told you that there are biometrics and there's all sorts of level security.
It's impossible for a Asian dude.
What I would like to do is I would like to punish him for being so disrespectful towards Lord Akaft, and I'm just going to, I don't know, now or later, go back to Lord Akaft and say, and I will exactly quote what this guy said, and I will say it in a way, if that's appropriate to say now.
Yeah.
That Lord Akaft, you know, I hope you can see that I shaved my head, which is a sign of me
culture.
becoming more male in your eyes. But I hope from our previous interactions, you did get maybe a feeling that I weighed my words carefully with you. And I have to quote you exactly what I was told by your contact, which you have shared, and I believed you would be interested in me getting through this contact towards the position of power to pursue your Lord Akaft's interests. And I don't have recording in front of me, but I would like to quote exactly, like he said, and I quote Lord Akaft, "You don't fucking know what you're doing. You have no idea how it works. And to my deep regret, I have to inform you about that. I'm happy."
Are you doing this while he's in the room? Are you phoning him up? Are you going to ping him on the comms?
Is it possible to phone him up?
Yes, do it. I think you should do it.
Yes, perfect.
I think I would like to do that.
Okay, yeah. So you phone him up. It takes a few minutes to kind of catch him, and he's like, "A calf here." You're gonna say that to him.
I would like to say that exactly that.
Okay, and Akaf just kind of laughs. Well, you have to sort it out.
How tolerant are you towards the violence? And I'll be saying that in front of this guy. How tolerant are you towards the violence of this contact? And I'll look straight dead in the eye to this guy. And I'm really sad I don't have a picture of a new Reytar. But
do what you feel is necessary.
All right. And I will not say anything to this guy. I will phone up the ducks. Could you please come here? I'd really need your help with one urgent matter.
Of course, my friend, I'm on my way. And Dax will put down a hot dog with Belle and Tyler and just say, look, I've had a wonderful time. It's been great to catch up with you, but a colleague of mine needs a little bit of assistance. I'd love to catch up with you again before we leave. I thank you for your hospitality. And he'll nod towards Billum and just say, sounds like the pair of us might be needed here, Bill.
Well,
Yes.
So Billum sort of like, kind of eats the rest of his hot dog and grabs the bit off, assuming there was a bit left on Dax's plate, sort of grabs that as well. He's like, great, yeah, good to see you again. No doubt we'll see you somewhere else in the universe, but until next time. And he just starts eating the hot dog again and just sort of stomps out.
Okay. So
Reytar would be happy for both of them to come, obviously, because what Reytar meant was just calling for some muscles.
Okay, well, let's go straight to that scene. Let's go straight to that scene, and then we'll go to Kel doing a little bit of close. So it takes probably 10-15 minutes for Dax and Billem to kind of come across. Are you waiting in the guy's office, or are you going
I would like to sit. I would like to go back. I'll ask him only one question. Are you expecting any other visitors?
No, I've just got work to do. So he's like,
good.
He's like,
and
so
I'll just sit in the
there,
chair and look and be just absolutely emotionless and just stare at him. I'll be thinking probably about something even peaceful, but at this point, just waiting.
Okay. So you sort of sit there, and 10-15 minutes pass. You might help yourself to a cup of water or something like that, and the two guys come in, and this guy, Kiagi, kind of looks up, and he sees Adam's apple bob up and down a little bit as he sort of goes, sort of nods, gentlemen.
Billum sort of looks over to Reytar. How can we help, Mom?
What? And he sort of looks at Reytar. He's like, Kiagi goes, Mom?
Well, and Reytar would just pretend he doesn't notice it and says, "Yeah, that's our code for violence, isn't it?"
Did you assume my gender? Dax gender.
Dax gender.
So
Dax gender.
I'd like to tell to Willem and Dax that, guys, I got a preliminary approval from Aslan to smooth this conversation with a little bit of a violence, if necessary. And I happen to take that this gentleman, Kenzo, I'll just come up with this random name, Kenzo, and he doesn't do what I sort of expected him to do based on our conversation with Aslan. And Dax, Aslans are a people of their word. So we either have to assume that Aslan lied to us, or this gentleman is not being helpful enough. Do we really want to assume that Lord Akaft wasn't honorable in his promises?
He looks like pretty kind of shaken up here, and he's like, oh, I don't know what you guys. What's going on here?
Dax is not only hungover, but also he's feeling a little bit under the weather, and he's not happy about it. But also, Bill's looking particularly scary today. Bill's been punched repeatedly by an Aslan, and despite almost because of that, he looks more sort of threatening than usual. And Dax will sort of look towards Bill and just say, "Yeah, I think the man wants some convincing, Bill, and I'm an honest trader. You know your skills, my friend." And he'll sit into a chair, he'll look at Reytar and he'll say, "My understanding was Lord Eckhaft said there was a board position waiting for you. Now, I'm not sure what this guy's holding back, but I can't see why you wouldn't have access to anything you would want access to." And he's just going to stare out of the window and light up a cigar and try not to look like he feels like death, and let Billum take the scene.
So Billum just flicks out the monkey knife and he just starts sort of picking under his nails with the sort of the curve of the monkey knife. So say again, what's up, Reytar?
Well, Bill, you were a little bit drunk, but I'm pretty sure you remember that. Lord Eckhaft was interested in diverting finances from Highport to Starport on Aronosia. And we've come up with, I think we were in this perfect condition to come up with this perfect plan, which only us could have realized clearly for Lord Eckhaft. And this would involve me getting access to financial data.
Can't get access. Like he's like, what many fucking times do I have to say this? And then he stops himself.
So I think, I mean, Billum sort of and you're saying, so this man here, he's preventing us from doing I've lost all connection. Doing as we've agreed. That would make us men not of our word.
It seems so
scary.
to me. Unless unless you have to clarify something for us. So what's about that Jedico access once again? And I can't
get you on the Jedico board. I don't work for Jedico. They're their own company. It's like it's impossible for me to get you on the Jedico board.
What can you get us?
I can get you on the Aronosia Port Authority board, but the barrier between Aronosia Port Authority and Jedico is absolute. I mean, it's like you're talking about two separate companies.
So, hold on, let me stop you right there. And he turns around to Reytar. He says, "He can get you on a board. What's wrong?"
Well, it's like saying I can get you a spaceship and then giving you a fucking like old what was the name? Old civilian.
I've got an old ship.
Yeah, let's go steady here.
Yeah, there's the name of the ship, which is like the cheapest one. Civilian hopper or something like that.
Yeah. Explain hopper. Yeah.
It's like saying I'll get you a spaceship and then giving you an old civilian hopper. That's not the promise. That's not how you hold up to your promise. This position will not get us to fulfill Aslan's job. There is no point of me spending months and years just working my mid-level board position for what? For never getting access to Jedico? And I'll ask this guy do you happen to know anyone by chance who could get us access on a Jedico board, who could maybe be persuaded if required?
To get on the Jedico board?
Yeah.
You're talking about an imperial mega corporation. You don't just walk in to an imperial mega corporation and say and get onto the board.
We're only looking about the board of the small spaceport. That's not a big deal, is it?
Yeah, but you don't understand the money that comes through here. Like, look at where it is on the trade route. It goes from the Imperium, the high rate, to the Florian League. All the financial, like, I wanted to imagine is that the money flows like blood through an artery, and Jedico takes a taste of that as it goes through. So it's a lot of money.
Can Billum sort of walk over to Reytar and sort of say because like Billum's been around a bit, so he's kind of like, you know, he knows the through his work with through kind of postal service type thing, you know, the courier service. Ultimately, you get quite a good view of the big companies and how it all works. Yeah, and he just sort of says to Reytar, it's like the guy's right. There's no way he can get us on a Jedico board. We should take what he can offer, because at least we can do the piracy that we want, and at least we're halfway to one of the tasks that we were looking to achieve. I mean, I don't mind roughing this guy up. You know, I'm always game for a bit of a fight.
He ain't no Aslan.
I don't think he's going to be able to give us what we want.
Dax, when Bill says the word piracy, Dax will just sort of go and then spit on the floor. And just
assuming I was doing quietly.
Yeah, as was I. But I'll try and cover the FA and just say
the P word.
To be honest,
I could get you on the APA board in control of what would you call it? It would be like where you might go to refresh yourself. Toilets.
I often refresh myself in the toilet.
What Reytar will do, I would just say, no, great idea, and I will take the auto pistol and shoot him in the leg, just for the sake of it.
Okay, we're escalating. This is great. Because Reytar might.
Madness.
There's a good chance Reytar's going to miss. It's fine. We can smooth.
You know, there is security in the starport.
Well, I understand that.
You're going to shoot him in the leg.
And I'm just going to do that. That's plus. Okay, I did say that Reytar gets this new trade, but plus I'm still next day after having a drug which drives an existential crisis. Under no circumstance, I would, in this condition, feel to be too worried about that.
So make a gun combat roll, please.
Like Reytar. Sorry, Andrew is worried about Reytar, but at this point, it's just the way it has to go.
So
I'm worried about Dax.
Make a gun combat roll, please, Reytar. Have you got gun combat as a skill?
I don't, so it will be untrained.
We're all in the firing line here, aren't we?
Yeah, Reytar shoots Dax. Do you see what I'm willing to do?
Right.
If
So
Zim were there, he'd recount his unfortunate situation when he tried to fire a gun with absolutely no skill.
Yeah.
right. So you've not got okay. So it's untrained skill.
Yes.
Or you could actually go onto your auto pistol and just click the little dice. That will do it, and that should automatically do it. It shouldn't be.
I'd like to fire. It says auto pistol. I would like to fire one shot. Is it all right? I just don't want to do the whole damage. I know I have a pistol, so I'd like to shoot one.
It should come up as untrained skill as the skill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Do I get a bonus because he's...
No. We're gonna roll. If you do it, we're gonna roll for initiative. You missed.
That's not bad though. You came close.
It's close. Yeah, it's bang.
Well,
it lands in the leg in this chair next to him.
And I'll say that was on purpose. Next time it will be closer.
And at this point, Dax will sort of leap out of the chair and just put a hand on Reytar's shoulder, and he's just going to say, "I'm sorry, my friend here is a little cavalier, and I think you've wound him up. Now, we may have to talk to Lord Eckhart. I think a position on the APA board is the absolute minimum. We can work up from there. I appreciate the bind you're in," but he's going to lean into Reytar and just say, "You're a fucking pirate, lad. I have my doubts about you, but fucking hell, you're one of us."
And Reytar will say, in a friendly manner, of course, "So don't you ever fucking call me lady again."
I didn't call you a lady. A fucking big cat called you a lady. I just didn't disagree.
No. I think Dax did call.
No.
Reytar.
Rob called you a lady. Dax did.
Maybe. Okay. But we know Rob and Dax is the same person.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It would be done with a little bit of a joke, of course.
Yeah. Naturally.
You've scared the shit out of this guy. You've definitely intimidated him. We don't need to make any rolls for that. We'll move the scene on because I want to get to Kel, because I want Kel and Kel and Bill to do some reconnaissance, and then we'll set the scene for a bit of carousing, I think, before we finish, depending how we do for time. But basically, this guy he can get you on the Port Authority. But he can't get you on the Jedico board because it's a mega corporation and it's a separate thing. But whether you can, he's basically described a situation in the Jedico office on the 74th floor, where you've got this office has got 3 levels of security. There's an external, and I want you to imagine now, on a film like Mission Impossible, when it does a visualization of the scene through the security. Yeah. You've got external security doors that are past and palm recognition, facial recognition, palm recognition, all that kind of stuff. You go in, then you've got the zone 1, which is reception security. You've got 10 security staff on duty at all times. They're armed. No armaments are allowed in the offices. There is a crystal iron, what they make starships out of, in the floor and the ceilings. There's a restaurant above and there's a dance studio below, and there's crystal iron between. So to go through the floor and ceilings, it'd be mega difficult. There might be a way. Who knows? Because obviously there's going to be wires and connections and all that kind of palaver. So you've got these biometric scans to get into level 1. After that, you've got level 2, or zone 2 rather, which they call the Hallows. This is where the traders go. This is where the guys go who work for Jedico, who run all the kind of finances. And there's various kind of security doors in between the kind of levels there. Then you've got zone 3, which is the computer core and advanced AI. That core is in a room which has got another room beforehand to get into it. Only one person can enter that room at a time. And to get into that room, it takes your weight, and there's a pass, and there's hand recognition. I think there might be iris recognition as well. I'll have to look into it. I'll have to check it out again. And then you could get into the computer core, but then you've got the problem of trying to reprogram the core. Even if you manage to do all that, so theoretically, you go in, you reprogram the core to start diverting trade data. The Jedico
that's an adventure on its own.
That's an adventure on its own. The Jedico has AIs at a number of other regional headquarters. There's one at Verito. So let's just go back to the landing page.
We'd have to treat it like a proper heist, like bloody casino thing.
With the Van Taschen Manor job.
It's a heist. Yeah. It's a heist. Hex. There's a regional Jedico headquarters at Hex, and the main Jedico headquarters is down at Verito, right? Which is such a weird place to have it, but it's right on the edge of the high rate. And they have AIs there that track all this trade stuff. And if for some reason the income starts going below a certain level, they're going to send a team of investigators out to see what the fuck's going on.
Of course.
It's what he's saying to do is possible, but what he's also saying is it's impossible.
It's unlikely to work, and it's unlikely to work long term. But I think Dax's priority at this point, and he was just going to let it do what it did. But Dax's priority at this point is just to get us out of there, apologise to the guy, bring Reytar out, and just say to Reytar, yeah.
As Dax pulls Reytar out, I'll just turn like in a little bit comic way, not like in this too brutal way, because I think Reytar has kind of used all the brutality which he could. But I'll like, and no toilet. How did he say? Toilet manager, and no toilet manager. Kind of just to stand the point, because Reytar shot not because that guy said it's impossible to get the finance. Reytar shot because he was fed up with like this kind of behavior. So toilet position or manager or whatnot was the tipping point.
There's a lot of toilets. It's quite a big job.
It's a pretty senior position.
Does he want to say that? Does he want to say that now?
No, I'm GM saying that. Right, okay, let's move to C. Right, let's go to a little bit of kind of what do we say now? A little bit of kind of infiltration, a little bit of recon. So, Kel and Bill and potentially Silek, you've got you guys could be running this kind of parallel. So one at the front, one at the back. So we could flip between you.
Yeah, it's like a military, and there's a military recon that we talked about for like long range. Bill and Silek checking out what the defences are, whilst Celestinius approaches them openly as an official and actually just has a conversation.
Zim, were you going to come along with me as like my aide?
You've got aides.
What I'm going to give you there, Bill, is that Silek has you've got. If you look on your character sheet, Bill, you've got some binoculars, yeah.
Sniper rifle.
If you go down to your equipment and tools, you should have some binoculars.
Yeah, got it.
I'm gonna
equip them.
Don't worry about those shitty binoculars. I've got some Pris binoculars. So Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Got some of those. So where are they? Sighting aids and accessories, Pris binoculars. Here you go. So they've appeared on your character sheet there. Multi-spectrum, long-range magnification, tech level 12. These are Silek's. He's like, look after them. He's coming with you, but like he's going to let you use them. So let's go to the Martin II on the pad. Well, there it is. So there's our baby. There's our puppy on the landing pad.
Fat bitch.
There she is. Yeah. And you can see there's a number of workers working around. There's a few cranes, people kind of crawling about. It's about 100 meters long. I guess it might not be quite as. It's quite big and fat, so it's certainly a big enough ship. There are kind of if we pull up the if we pull up the map of it, the deck plans, which is there. The lower cargo deck between those turrets has got cargo bay doors at the sides, so they kind of open. Would they slide or would they open like that? Don't really know. Doesn't really matter. So you've got these big cargo bay doors down the sides, and you can see these people working, and there's a various number of crates and machines and droids and things kind of knocking about. Can you make a spaceship pilot spacecraft roll, please, Bill? I thought that went well, Andy. Anyway, I like that.
I'm really sad that we couldn't put the picture up. Like that would just explain a lot.
Okay, so Bill, you can see that the actual hull of the Martin II doesn't look like it's taken any damage. Doesn't look like it's ever taken any damage. There's a little bit of damage to one of the landing gears, and the ship is at a bit of a funny angle where it looks like it's kind of come down. But it doesn't look like anything that would stop it taking off. The actual landing pad itself is cracked where it's landed. It's got 8 double turret beam lasers.
Ow.
So beam lasers don't pack a massive amount of punch, but a double packs a bit more, and there's 8 of them, so they definitely would wear it down. It's pretty well armored. Probably double what the Harrier might have. You've got these lateral cargo hatches for the lower deck, but there's no cargo hatches that would match with the upper deck, so whatever you sort of think of that. There's a couple of armed Marines knocking about. They look like they're supervising. So let's show you these 2 Marines. We've got this guy.
Oh, he's serious.
Ramon.
And we've got this guy.
Oh, he's even seriouser.
They look absolutely badass, these 2 guys. And there is you can see with your binoculars there is a sign that says what does the
Don't
sign
cross the
say?
Marines.
The sign says, what does it say?
Keep off the grass.
Write it down. Keep off the grass. I can't find it. Basically, the sign says something along the lines of contractors wear security pass at all time. Failure to comply could result in being shot.
Okay, so
and you've got these workers milling around.
Bill needs to kind of message this through to Cal and Zim. So he's got a condoc. Can he reach it through to them to let them know that there's these guys there, and also what he's seen on the ship? So again,
can you see? Bill, can you see the contractors wearing security passes or lanyards or something?
Oh, good question. I'm assuming the normal workers milling around. I'd sort of see it.
Yeah, you can see that there looks like to be 2 different lots, really. You've got these guys wearing what look to be like, because you've worked on Imperial starships and whatnot, you've got these guys wearing that look like uniform of the ship, the sort of ship uniform, and then you've got these kind of other guys, contractor guys, perhaps wearing like a blue overalls that look like sort of more kind of other contractors who've come in, and these are the guys that these Marines seem to be watching a little bit watching them a bit more carefully. So they're quite heavily armed, these Marines. They have Let's just have a look. Where are our Marines?
I think also it's whether I can see a couple of the workers that are sort of sectioned off. That
yeah, I guess this landing site with this ship, is it cordoned off at all? Is there like any kind of fencing, or is it just anybody could just walk up to it?
Anybody could just walk up to it.
Good. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, the Marines look like they've got at least a body pistol and look like quite a big laser rifle. They look cybered up to fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll sort of swing around my laser sniper rifle and just with Silic get a bead on these guys.
Okay. So you just kind of watch. You just kind of watch there. They're not going to see you because they're sort of busy. It looks like there's lots of sort of machine parts, lots of like engine parts, various cases. You guess from the size of the cargo bays doors that it's probably got a big cargo capacity. You know, it looks like it would have, which means that from a ship that size, it probably doesn't leave a lot of room for a very fast maneuver drive, because the faster drive takes up more space, and that is probably going to make it a bit slower.
Does Willem, as a pilot, know the sort of specs of a ship like this, or would it be
make a pilot spacecraft?
We've got the deck plans, haven't we?
Got the deck plans, but you don't know the spec. Go on, Reytar.
Go on, Reytar.
Sorry, it's Andrew. Guys, I'm very sorry. I actually realized a little bit later, and I have an extremely early morning tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, night.
Things before I go to bed. Well, no pun intended. No, true. I have to go now. If that's right. I do apologize.
Okay,
I didn't realize time.
Nah, you're fine, Andy.
Take care. Good luck tomorrow.
Go get your head down, pal.
On YouTube.
Well played tonight, buddy.
Yep.
No, mate. No. Good night.
So all I was thinking was we know the deck plan, and we also know it's sort of heavily armed. So actually, we can, it's going to be slower, and that much armor, it's going to be the inertia and everything is going to be that much tougher. But I can do the space craft roll, see if we can find out a bit more.
Yeah, see if you can find out a bit more. Yeah, you got a decent roll. You reckon that? Let me just look at the spec. What are the specs now? Let's see. You reckon, in terms of maneuverability, probably a 1 or 2 at best. Not fast at all.
It's like the guy that Reytar was talking to.
Yeah.
Kind of slow and wallowing.
It's like
Hence
like
the escort craft.
Yeah, it's like a ship version of the guy. Yeah.
Okay.
There are a couple of separate like docking stations at the sides. One, and you'll see it on the deck plan. Is it on the deck plan? Yeah. If you look at your deck plan, there's 2 docking spaces. There's one about halfway up to the back on the right, and there's another one at the top, at the very top. These are docking spaces for ships like what's called a launch. And a launch is like I think it's like about 20, 30 ton. I think it's 30 ton. Like a little shuttle that you might use to go. You could refuel with it.
Like a Star Trek shuttle. It's like a little.
It's a little shuttle.
Yeah.
It's a little shuttle. Yeah. What do you want to do? Anything you want to do with that information? Should we go to Kel?
I think head over to Kel again. I mean, I'll relay that to Kel and stuff, but otherwise I think it's kind of I'll keep on Overwatch really while he goes up to. If you're just going to walk up to
Zim going in as well. Yeah.
I guess we don't want Willem to. We want them to see what happens to the Marines, especially when we approach, and not defend us, not start shooting, but just see what the security protocols are and things like
Okay, yeah, okay. So as you approach, you're just going to go striding up.
Well, I want to do a little bit of a retro flashback because I wouldn't have just walked up in me sort of like lab coat and everything. I
Your
would have been,
civvies, yeah.
yep, wearing me sort of like standard imperial civil servant uniform
Suitable
or
gear.
suit. Yeah,
There's a fabricator on the coup that can
that's
make
right.
sort of simple stuff.
I'm wearing my outfit that I've linked in WhatsApp, just so you know.
Yeah, because you're representing your nobility side. That's going to give us the leverage to get in if we need to.
I've got my hair swapped.
What a fantastic
In
outfit.
purple, you are stunning.
Royal purple with gold.
That is amazing, like Prince. Okay, so you kind of
Yeah.
that's fantastic. Okay, so you go walking up, and pretty quickly these guys kind of clock you, and Zim, can you make a science? Just make a science roll, Zim.
Just a general science roll, yeah.
Let me just have a look at your character sheet a second. Zim. Yes, make a general science roll.
Can I add the characteristic modifier to it?
Yeah, so it could be intelligence or...
I'll do intelligence.
Yeah.
Because it's like thinking on the fly, innit?
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Oh!
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it looks all grand to you. But they clock you, and they pretty quickly lower these laser rifles, and one of them holds out a hand. He says, come no further. You're probably 50 meters away. Shouts out to you. I guess it's going to be the black guy for our purposes. Pretty booming voice. Come no further. Stop there. Who goes there?
Get out the ID that Zim's sort of fabricated for us. And I continue walking. And I just greetings, Sergeant. I need to see the captain immediately, please. And I just carry on walking towards it. Not with a threat, no threatening, just gently with the ID held up.
These two Marine kind of guys look at each other, and you see there's a bit of a kerfuffle. Kerfuffle's in space again. It's a bit of a kind of kerfuffle amongst space kerfuffle. There's a bit of a kerfuffle amongst some of these kind of contractors, and a few of these kind of the local engineers are working away, and you walk up to them, and you obviously get a bit closer, and he's kind of looking at you. Are you carrying any weapons?
No.
Okay.
Well, Zim isn't anyway.
Oh, no, we're not.
Yeah, okay. He quickly sees that you've got no weapons, and he's like, state your name and business.
So, Mike, what was the name of the beginning of the session, you had all the clusters of star systems linked, didn't you?
Yeah.
The one we're in now, is it the Cordan group, or
let's call it the Cordan cluster.
The Cordan cluster. Okay, so I say, greetings, Marine. I am the Imperial Adjutant for the Cordan cluster. My name is Galen Barrick. I need a security lanyard, and I need to see your captain or XO immediately. And I pass him the ID.
You pass him the ID, and he kind of looks at it, and he looks at his colleague, and he says, "The captain is busy, but I can call the. Let me just have a little look who it would be. It would actually be. I can call the tactical officer.
Tactical officer or the XO will be fine. Thank you, Marie. Quickly, please. I haven't got all day.
Okay, and he steps back a little bit, and he kind of just presses something on the side of his neck, and he's like tactical officer Grimsbold. Got someone from what did you say your name was?
Galen Barrick, adjutant for the Corban cluster, Imperial officer.
Adjutant, Corban, some Imperial guy, and then he says, okay, and then he's quiet for a minute, and he's like, just quiet for a moment, I suppose, and Officer Grimsbold will be with you shortly.
Great. I will need security pass and one for my aide, please. Thank you.
And a few minutes later, he doesn't really react to that. A few minutes later, this woman comes down, and you'll see that she's on your
roster.
She's on your crew roster, spelled incorrectly. Thanks, Phil. And she comes in and she looks a little bit kind of I guess I don't know. She's quite attractive, I suppose, just in a kind of a nice sort of navy blue imperial outfit.
Does she look haggard and tired, like she's been working hard, or does she look bored?
Well, let's have a look. Let me just
Can I
pull
even
up.
tell?
Can you even tell? Where is she? Let's just pull up her thing in there. Can you make some sort of roll for me?
I guess an investigate roll.
I think investigate roll, yeah.
Using int or edge, what do you think, or anything? I
Mm,
can just make it naked if you want.
well, I wish you would.
Or society. Well, society's my best skill. But
Yeah,
so
I think society actually. I think
I'm
society.
just trying to impress her with, like, not my charisma, but my authority.
Yeah, you're going to use your natural leadership
just like,
skills.
this
from
is
having a private
Play to your
education.
strengths, Kel.
I'm obviously the most important person here. Stop wasting my time. You know, what's her attitude to that?
Okay.
So I will go society. Okay, roll the 3.
Probably shouldn't have tried to teabag her at the same time there.
Yeah.
Respect my authority.
Billum with the suggestions after the fact.
I guess she's a bit of one who's hard to read.
Okay, sure.
Really, she doesn't look particularly friendly. She's pretty bit of a blank expression. She looks like a bit of a closed book, actually. Okay. And she just comes down and she says, "Yes, what is the meaning of this? We're obviously very busy here."
Well, I understand that. I'm here on behalf of the Imperial authorities to investigate the repair of the ship. And I pass her or I get the Marine if he's still got it to hand it over.
She looks at it and she says, "Okay. I mean, the repairs proceed. We're waiting for the rescue flotilla and then we'll be on our way."
Well, I have a few questions, either for the captain or a senior officer. It would probably be best if they were held in private.
Well, I'm the senior officer on deck at the moment, so you can ask me.
All right. Shall we go somewhere more discreet? I think it would be wise.
You have to make some sort of roll, aren't you? I think for this. I think what about like
Persuade?
Deception or persuade?
But deception is better, but I'm trying to persuade. I'm not trying to lie to her. I actually think it would be better if we were somewhere more.
Okay, we'll make a persuade roll then.
Persuade with.
I think social again. Let's use your social here.
Oh.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
So I sort of side eye at the two Marines who are within earshot and say, I think it would be better if we have this conversation. Right.
Okay. Yes, very well. So she leads you into the ground, the lower cargo deck is where she leads you. So let's take you into the
Zim, what do you want your alias to be in this? If I have to reference you, what should I call you?
My alias is Ms. Tack. No. Yeah. Tackud. Ms. Tackud.
Ms.
Tackud.
Is that double Z with me?
Just the one.
Right. Tackud.
Ms. Tackud.
Hopefully I won't have to use that. That'll teach me for asking.
Ms. Tackud.
Ms. Come with us.
Ms. Tackud. Ms. Yeah, that's my first name. I'm your aide to the Viscount, and I have been sequestered by the Imperial Economical Starboard Auditor's Office because the ship is using too much power and it's incurring a surcharge.
No one cares.
There you go. I've even got a fake laptop with all the credits rolling up.
She just kind of looks at you and her eyebrows kind of frown a little bit, and she's like, and she takes you into this. Can you see that image? It wasn't quite located properly. Have you?
I got you.
Yeah, can you see it now? Sorry, I had to kind of drag it in.
Oh yeah.
And
this is like the lower cargo.
This is like the lower cargo deck. You've got these kind of gantry that runs around the edge here, and then there is a Now the whole place, this whole kind of room, it smells of oil and burn electrical wiring. It's not very well lit. It's crammed with junk and spare parts. And there's lights flickering and dying at kind of random times. You've got these lateral kind of walkways that kind of go along the sort of side there, and this kind of central kind of area. There is I guess probably there. There's a kind of and there's probably a couple of these. I think there are these kind of central lifts that go up into what from the deck plans would be the upper cargo hold, where the vault is. It's like a grav lift that kind of goes up. I think there's just one actually. Yeah, there's just one. It goes up, and from the deck plan, it comes out right outside the vault. Okay. There's a lot of cargo containers. There's a lot of cargo containers.
I guess
a couple of 100 tons of cargo containers. Some of them are stamped within the Imperial Sunburst. About half of them are stamped with the Imperial Sunburst, and about half of them are stamped with the Tobiah Commerce Guild logo, which we've mentioned before.
Yeah. And I guess they're not moving the cargo, it's just stored away because the ship's in transport, right? They're not unloading it or loading it. It's
just there.
Yeah, all right. Cool.
Yeah. And you've got a few workers in there, but not many, but they're like the way over there. So she's like, and what is it you're looking for? I'll just write your names down again. What were your names again? Sorry.
My name's Galen Barrick, Imperial Adjutant, and this is my aide,
Ms. Takduk.
Ms. Tak.
Good.
Ms. Takgood.
Takgood. It's Zim Ducat spelled backwards.
Okay, nice.
Oh, very good.
Ms. Takgood. Okay.
Don't see that ruse.
And what seems to be the kind of problem here?
Well, look, and has she introduced herself? No, okay, she hasn't.
Not really, has she? She's not introduced.
No, well, I will. I know who she is because I studied the crew roster as soon as we got sent over. So I'll say, Officer Grimsbold, we have a few questions. The Imperial authorities are concerned with the incident that caused Martin II to have to land here, and we want to make sure that everything is on the way to being sorted. But we do have a few questions to make sure nothing more serious is going to happen. I hope you're able to answer my questions. If not, I'm going to speak to someone who can.
You know very well, Mr. Barrick, that the captain's authority is, what would be the kind of correct term? The captain's authority is absolute in matters of imperial shipping. This is not an imperial world, and the Imperium has no jurisdiction here. So your concerns are duly noted.
The Imperium has jurisdiction and concerns about whatever happens to this ship because the cargo is so valuable. If you're refusing to answer my questions and do not want to,
I'm happy to answer your questions.
Great. Okay, let's start then. First of all, I have a list here. Now, is it possible to speak to the purser later on, or are you the only officer who's free at the moment?
I'm the only officer who's free at the moment.
Okay then. Have any of the crew recently joined the ship, or have they all been long-term members?
I really don't see what the relevance of this is.
If you're unable to answer my questions, that's fine. I'll speak to a more senior officer. I understand if you feel you can't because of security, in which case you should hand me over to someone who can.
Can you make a persuade roll?
I can. I don't know what my character sheet is. It's hiding behind my crew list. Here we go. Persuade. Again, I'm putting on this. I'm putting on
deception. Or deception could be valid as well.
I'll do deception. Again, I'm putting the society on. Just like saying, I'm so far above you with the pecking order. Stop wasting my time. That's the attitude I'm trying to say. Like, also, I can make her life misery, right? If people of my rank don't want to get messed around, so she should just make her life easier by doing what I ask.
Nice. Wow. Got a lot of positives. You got a lot of modifiers
there.
Deception
and society are my two best things. So this is what I do. I go in, I bullshit my way to try to get what I need.
As far as I'm aware, the crew have been most of the crew have been in on this ship for quite some time. Some of the deckhands a little bit less.
Yeah, well, deckhands are important. Can I ask you if the local help is helping to make sure the ship is repaired on time? Is it on schedule? Is everything on schedule?
It's barely sufficient. It's barely sufficient.
Yeah.
We are recruiting. Actually, we're recruiting. We're looking for good engineers and mechanics.
Sort of locally, just to help you speed up the process.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have heard, you'll have seen. I mean, it's no secret that we've had an accident, we've had an explosion, we've lost a number of crew.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to replace some of those crew members. Obviously, our ship doctor was unfortunately killed in the explosion.
Oh, my condolences.
Thank you. We're looking to kind of replace some of the mechanics to help us get on our way, and if they perform well, then there might be an opportunity to join the crew.
Fine. Can I ask if the vault is still secure? I don't need to know what's in it. I don't need to know how it's secured. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm just making sure that the vault wasn't damaged in the explosion that brought the ship down.
The vault is totally secure.
Excellent. That's exactly what I wanted to and
the door opened up as we landed. The door opened up. The hinge blade just opened up.
And all the gold sort of back.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And Mr. Ms. Tapgood, I'm still not entirely clear on your role here.
Imperial Auditing Subdivision. I'm afraid I'm here escorting the Viscount on board the ship. You see, it has actually registered in the subsector financial returns that even though you are at repair, that the revenue that you're charging Imperial authorities when you come back to the sector is actually a few percent over than it should be. So we just really need to understand why the hours you're putting in on the repairs don't seem to correspond with the correct applied legislation with the amount of credits that you're going to insist on back. And of course the power outputage that you're requiring for repairs on the local subsystem and this high port. It's costing the Imperial authorities money. And we just want to get to the bottom of it. And to aid this ruse, if you allow, Zim has got like not a fake laptop, because he doesn't really need one because he's got it all in his head, but he's got a laptop or a data slate with fake floor plans of the treasure ship with some like energy, like a fake program documenting energy fluctuations and credits like going up the screen with like these energy readings, and he's kind of going, "Can you explain why that is?" That sort of thing.
Brilliant. Okay, so you're gonna have to make some kind of, and also, Bill, I want you to. It's 11:10 actually, guys. So we should probably start to kind of wind it up in a minute. I know it's been a bit bitty tonight with everyone doing the kind of different roles.
I bloody loved it.
But I think Bill, Zim, you're gonna have to make some kind of role here. To kind of. Have you got deception?
No, but I've got a jack of all trades and a winning smile.
Could it be some sort of computers role?
You've got electronics computers or something?
I've got computers 2, I've got sensors 1, I've got electronics 0. But that's because of my sensors, do you know what I mean?
I'll let you roll computers. I'll let you roll computers.
Okay. Can I still add a modifier to it?
Yes, you could. You could use education.
I was going to put a little penalty on myself and put social because I'm pretending to be something I'm not.
You could use int because you're just trying to baffle her with that long string of.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Okay.
Because it's just like gobbledygook, just trying to confuse her.
It's like Warhammer Blather.
Yeah.
One brother. She looks just like as you're talking, her eyes kind of start to glaze over.
Glaze. That was the effect I wanted.
She's like,
just show us the money.
Yeah, she's like
You know what these auditors are like? You just let him get on with his stuff. Don't get him started.
She sort of stops you at midpoint, and she's like, "I really think you'd be better speaking to her."
It's at 1.3 million mega credits by the end of this financial
Thank you, Tucker. Thank you.
You can just kind of see around her eyes start to crease as you can see the irritation.
The tremors I've got from drinking the drink, I sort of do a twitch because as if Zim's constant talking about money just gives me a nervous twitch. Shut up.
Bill, what are you doing? So these guys have gone in. You've seen them both file in. You've seen this woman come out. Then you've seen her go back in, and you've seen the two guys kind of go in, and the Marines just kind of looking around, and seem satisfied. There's nothing really happening.
So I think Billum would. He's keeping watch, and the last communication he had from them was that they were going to go in and try and talk to them. So he's not seeing any activity, or it doesn't look like there's any activity that would suggest he should be worried. And I was thinking, to be fair, he is absolutely fucked up still, isn't he, really? So, he's actually pretty... Yeah.
Let's do some... Did we do some surgery on you? Did we do some...
We did some
I did a tiny bit of first aid.
Did a bit of first aid. We need to do a little bit of minor surgery that we would have done beforehand. Yeah, so where's the sort of healing? Medical care.
So much getting retcon for Bill tonight, isn't there? It's like...
It's a little bit like that. Zim, can you make a medical check?
Yep.
What's your medicine skill?
1.
Okay. So that's 1.
Oh, wow.
So you get 3 plus the PC's endurance modifier. What's your endurance modifier at the moment, Bill?
-3.
Okay, so that's 0. Plus the medic skill. So you get 1 point. You get 1 point back from a little bit of stitching. Plus we'll say it's another day. So you get 1d6.
I've got a tier 12 med kit which has +2 to medical rolls.
Oh.
So I'm assuming I would have let Zim use that. I didn't use it when I rolled because I was saying I was doing my...
It gives you +2, does it?
I think so. Inventory. I have a medkit enhanced at level 12 +2 to medic kit.
Okay, so that would actually be 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's going to get 3 points back, plus you're going to get a d6. So what's your endurance now then, Bill? If you had those 3 points.
My endurance now, well, I put it on dex. I was scribbling that up because I assumed I had to do that first before.
Do it in any order you want.
Okay.
So your endurance modifier is still -3.
Well, I'll bring that down a bit. It's -1 now.
-1. So you're going to get a d6. So you're going to get another point.
Oh.
He's slowly being patched back together.
Yeah. So you got a little bit of healing there, and you get to kind of make a medical care roll a day plus a bit of natural healing a day. So it'll take a little bit of time. But obviously, if we think it's a week's past, we'll just kind of hand wave that through and say it's all back. Just on the off chance that these Marines spot you and decide to come over and shoot you.
Beat you up. Yeah.
Might be useful.
I
think we'll go on.
I was going to say, do you want to call it? 'Cause it's quite late.
Yeah, I think we should call it there. I think that's a good time to call